Potato.
Mr. Potato Man.
Potato.
We're live.
Are we live?
Yes.
Are we
Will's
live?
hiding his stuff right
There's
now.
even people here in the chat. Oh, no.
Potato has a butt.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
That potato has a butt.
Okay.
Potato.
That's not a sentence I
Potato.
thought I would say today.
Yeah.
Potato booty.
That's a Mike Mitchell potato.
Welcome. We're live on the internet with Potato Butt, Mr. Potato Butt himself.
Potato butt.
Yeah. Hello. We're here.
Hi.
We're here. This is the pre-show. Welcome to the pre-show of the Full Nerd.
Where we talk about potato butts.
Yeah, where we talk about potato butts. We'll talk about a lot of other stuff later, mostly
More
PC
butts.
related stuff. Yeah, DIY PC stuff, but we're here with potato butts.
I muted. I win.
Good. You got the high five.
Professional, Elena.
Yes, professional. Elaine is a professional around here, not like Mr. Potato Butt. Brad, hello.
How's it going, man?
Oh wow.
Your camera doesn't
What?
track you.
Mine? No.
No. That's a bummer.
That sounded accusatory.
Yeah, I thought I was getting yelled at, but I thought I would get bottom of the lead.
Spud bums is what Liquid R says. We got all the friends of the show, Deatus. Wait, what? Have you tried scruffing APM and getting him to spit out the floor candy? I assume that's why things are late.
Roughing him.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Like
Yeah.
kittens. They just
Wow.
like, whoop.
Yeah. Okay, I like it. And yes, that
If
did
only.
sound judgmental, Brad. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I've met my grandma before. She's the same way.
Where's your grandma from? I guess you don't need to reveal it if you don't.
Boston area.
Okay.
New England.
Baston. Yeah.
So
Does she have an accent?
Yeah.
Baston.
Yes. Yeah, oh, yeah.
so I had two super supportive and really loving and delightful grandmothers, and then I met my wife's grandmother, who's very much a judgy grandmother, and I'd never experienced judgy grandmother before until I was 25 or 30, and was just like,
Like how judgy?
Oh,
Or she'd come up to you and she's like, "Wow, you're fat."
she looked at the second time I met her, she's like, "You've gained a lot of weight since the last time I saw you." Like, there was the lead in. She didn't say hello first. I was just like,
Okay.
This is so funny
like-
to me as someone who comes from a very different culture. I'm sure
Yeah.
all the people who share, like Willis is laughing because he knows.
I know.
That's just
I know.
hello for us.
Yes.
and just to be clear, I hadn't gained any weight at all. I was exactly the same size as before. She was just like, "You're looking a little pudgy there, Will." And I was like, wow, okay, I understand now why your granddaughter doesn't ever want to come see you, but I always make her. So you're welcome, I guess.
I have the
Anyway.
same. I have the same experience because my godmom. Every time I'll see her, once every year or two, she'll be like, "Oh, yeah, you got a little fat, little pudgy. What's going on there?" I'm like, oh boy.
That's so nice,
That's
though.
just her. That's
for-
just her hellos.
It's
Yeah.
like, wait, so is that an Asian auntie?
Yes.
That's really nice for an
Yeah.
Asian auntie.
Yeah.
Like what I'm used to is like, oh, you got fat.
Yeah. It's the
Oh.
first greeting.
It's always the
Yeah.
What is it about the weight that triggers them?
It's not triggering. It's just like for us, it's not as not as much as a faux pas to discuss weight. Like it goes in both directions, right? So like
Yeah.
my great grandmother would always say like, "Oh, you're too skinny. Eat something," Or
Yeah.
somebody else would say, like, "Oh, did you gain weight?" And it's like not really as necessarily it's judgmental. Like the judgment comes when you see like other behaviors that go with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I got you.
Because Robert Booker says it's your granddaughter's fault. She's a great cook. So there you go.
Well,
You could
for us, though, godparents are like the spoilers, right? They're like hey, I've neglected this relationship with you for a really long time. So when you turn 16, I'm going to get you something really nice and stupid to give a 16-year-old, like a bottle of aged whiskey or something, right? Like my godfather, when I turned 16,
nice.
yeah, he gave me a really expensive bottle of bourbon, and I was like, I'm 16, dude. I don't drink. And my dad was like, hell yeah. And my mom was like, oh, we're not going to know. We'll save this until you're ready for this. Bill."
I have to say though, like some of my fondest memories are of adults who didn't really understand quote unquote age appropriate things, right? Because they just like,
Oh, yeah.
well, you're like a mini adult, I guess, and like I'll just subtract a little to make a kid appropriate. So like when I first entered college, my uncle's like, "You want some wine?" I was like, I'm not old enough yet. And he's like,
It's fine.
I mean, yeah, you're over 18. That's fine. Yeah.
legal somewhere.
Yeah.
It was like he took me to movies. Like he would take me to movies that were absolutely not. I was 8 years old probably. And he's like, hey, this movie's probably a little scary for you, but you can handle it, right? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. I'd never seen a scary movie before. I'd seen, Bambi. The start of Bambi's really scary because the mom dies. Spoilers, I guess. Also,
Wow.
Oh,
Jeez.
wow. Spoilers.
but so we went and we saw Hellraiser. I think.
And that day you became a man.
The 14-year-old selling tickets at the counter was like, "Are you sure, sir?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, he's fine." And I was like, "Cool." I was not fine.
Wow.
It was not fine. It was super duper not fine.
Wow.
8 years later, he's like, I saw the way you handled Hellraiser. Have some bourbon, boy.
Yeah. He's like, you're gonna need that bourbon after Hellraiser.
You know
Learned a
what?
lot about Christianity.
There's a Reddit thread about like the movie that like you'll never watch again or like it was traumatizing for you, and I literally clicked on it just so I could scroll through the comments and see how many people said Bambi. I actually remember the moment. Like I was alone, like watching, like my mom had left the TV as a babysitter for that moment, and like I hear the gunshot, and I was like 4 or something. I was like, no.
And it's like 3 minutes in. It's like Bambi and The Fugitive are basically the same movie.
No,
right?
no. You're confusing that with Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo, 100%. But
No,
I mean, look,
no, there's time. There's like some time for Bambi. Like it actually is more traumatizing because it like has like some gentleness first,
you're right.
and then it's just like wham trauma.
So my wife is not a Disney person. She didn't watch Disney movies as a kid. So when my daughter was coming around, she was like, "Oh, hey, we should have her watch Bambi." Or something. I was like, "Are you out of your bleep 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 mind?" No.
No,
She's
they
like, why?
need
It's
to
like,
learn.
well, we're gonna watch
They need to
Bambi,
learn.
Bambi during adult time, and then she watched Bambi. She's like, "Why would anybody show this to their children?" I was like, "You think this is bad? Let's go watch The Fox and the Hound."
Oh,
No.
Actually, the one for me is somebody mentioning in the chat, Watership Down.
Oh,
that one was
gosh.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
like,
What
oh,
was
boy.
it with all these children's movies up until like maybe the 2000s where
They're
they're
still
just
bad.
like, you know what, life's traumatic. We'll just get you started early.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up quick. That's for sure.
Watership Down.
So, yeah.
Land Before
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
Never ending story.
Over
Oh, boy.
time, yeah.
It ended.
Like, and it's not even like a modern cartoon thing. Like freaking Old Yeller, where the red fern grows. Ugh,
Bridge to Terabithia. That's
Yes.
not even a movie. That's just a book.
I know. Well, I'm naming some books too, but it's like some of them got
Yeah.
made into movies.
You
It's just
know, I
all
know.
trauma all the way down.
Lewis lost his alien. That was traumatizing.
Oh, yeah. That traumatized Gordon.
Yeah.
Now it all makes sense.
That's what I grew up on. That's why I've been sitting here quiet. I grew up with a single dad, so I grew up watching like Alien and Hellraiser and
Yeah.
Predator and all that. And I was like
It's the good
16
stuff.
before I saw Disney movies, and I'm like, I don't
you're the inverse. I like it.
We had a satellite dish, so we during the time before they had video scrambling technology, so you could watch anything, but you had to pay if you wanted the audio. I think I've talked about this before.
No.
Huh.
No.
What about subtitles? You couldn't get
They
sub-
didn't have
Oh,
they didn't
okay.
care about accessibility in 1980. So, but like Stars and HBO were on the satellite we were always aimed at because we had you had to go out and manually crank the crank and like
Get them
to
started.
move the satellite dish. And so we always were on like HBO and TBS and Disney satellite and Stars or whatever Stars was called back then. And like you'd watch, like I watched Rambo 3 probably 20 times trying to suss out exactly what was happening in Rambo 3 from just the pictures. Turns out not that difficult.
Yeah.
Like something bad's happening in Afghanistan. The Red Cross is involved. Maybe there's drugs and Rambo's going to kill a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I love this because it's like how you try to immerse yourself in a foreign language when you're first learning, except this is actually your native language.
Yeah. And it's like
You got really good at reading lips.
See, you think that, but it turns out you're never really good at reading lips. Single white female, not at all what I was expecting. Sex lies and videotape, not at all what you were led to believe it was. Comedies don't work without words, but action movies, Predator, pretty
Yeah.
good without sound.
And
Still
you,
works.
and you can tell when there's a punchline, when he delivers a line. Yeah, I like it. Will, your camera is shaking like crazy.
Oh,
It's-
shit. Shoot. I'll just not move.
No, I keep thinking that there's like an earthquake and that our TV is shaking. But, like,
No, so the camera's mounted on I changed cameras because of Prime Day last week, and the camera's mounted on top
you
of
can't
the
blame
monitor.
this. You can't blame this on Bezos. Come on, man.
This is Prime Day's fault. Here, I can move it onto the rack that doesn't wobble as much.
The perfect, great.
And now it's
Love it.
great. Everything's fantastic. I'm gonna put it back on the monitor.
All right. Well,
He's just hiding himself
perfect.
now.
Perfect. There we go. No. Keep it
Everything's
black.
working
Keep it
great.
black. Yeah.
Or just the ceiling. Yeah,
Just the
that's fine.
ceiling. Yeah. That's great. As
Okay,
intended.
perfect.
All right. Well, I think we should start.
Really?
Yeah. We should start. At some point, we should start.
Can't have
Because
like
Brad's
endless
Brad's got to
pre-show?
leave. Brad's like he's got actual
yeah.
work to do, and he's just like, man, you're burning discussion here.
Business
we
Brad.
can chat as long as we want, man. I'm just gonna get out of here in an hour.
True. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Cool. Well, we have a sponsorship, so we're
Oh,
gonna
I gotta
we're gonna
get
do
that.
the
Okay.
sponsor stuff. Will's gonna do the sponsor stuff specifically. I'm just gonna be the hand model with the headphones here.
And I go after you say on this episode of The Full Nerd.
No, you go first, then I follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ready?
Ready?
I think so.
This episode of The Full Nerd is sponsored by Fractal Design and the new Scape wireless gaming headphones. The Scape headphones feature Fractal's signature clean design, rich audio quality, and easy configuration through the browser. Head to Amazon using the link in the description and upgrade your gaming audio today.
In this episode of The Full Nerd, Intel woes, Zen 6 in the wild, and Windows finally gets a use for AI? And welcome everybody to episode 356. At this point, these numbers just keep going up. I don't know how high I'm going to be able to count at some
We're
point.
well past my toes and fingers, man.
Yeah, that is a lot of episodes. This is The Full Nerd. This is the best podcast that you can find on the internet about DIY PC building, for sure. Bar none. No one can dispute that. Brad, my co-host Brad Charkis, can you dispute that?
I was trying to, but I couldn't think of any factual ways to do so.
There you go.
So, no,
Well,
sorry.
We got two sources. One, Will Smith is on the TV today, just bouncing around the TV.
Ahoy, hoy.
Hello.
Earthquake in Pacifica. You're going to find it in about 10 seconds.
Oh boy.
boy. No, it's
Yeah.
fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. No earthquakes. We're cool.
Great. Cool. Okay. And here today at the table is one Eleni with a really cool shirt. I like that shirt.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's very similar to yours.
Yeah, I know. I was like, man, this is my style. I dig it.
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh, question
If
time.
someone were to challenge your assertion that we are the best DIY hardware podcast, how would you settle it? Would it be like Rochambeau, tug of war, figuring out who has the most
PC
positive
build off.
pressure
It has
in their
has to be a-
build?
yeah.
Okay. Does it have to post?
I think it has.
Does it
I think
have
we
to
do a
post?
race. I mean, look, the only way to do it is you do a PC build race,
Yeah.
Right.
and whoever's fastest and posts first wins.
Okay.
Yeah, like they used to do at CES. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I like that.
Been determined.
Other than that, I like rock paper scissors. Me personally. And then
A lot
controlling
better than Rochambeau.
controlling the verticals horizontals is Willis Lie.
Hello, everyone. I have new buttons controlling the horizontal and verticals thanks to one Will Smith. So bear with me. I might accidentally press the wrong button, if anything.
It's the Stream Deck that
It's
we
the
got
Stream
at
Deck, yeah.
Micro Center. I was it on sale? I don't think it was on sale.
Was it on sale?
I think it just was there, and
It was like $10 off.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, we're going to talk about some stuff today. We got it's a little lighter of a news week. It happens. It's the summer months.
Summertime.
Yeah. So we got some interesting stuff though.
Oh,
To a little
it is
potpourri.
90 degrees outside, and my office is the one room where I can't run air conditioning. It's definitely summer.
Oh, that
Oh.
sucks.
Sorry, Brad.
Well,
Yeah.
first, before we dive into the stuff, I want to ask the home crew that wasn't here last week. How did Prime Week go?
It was a week.
Yeah. Do you feel like there was actually good deals this time, or what?
It depends on the category.
Yeah.
Like there were a bunch of really good deals. But yeah, someone was talking about it the other day in our work chat, and I just put that Ben Affleck smoking a cigarette existential crisis. That's how I sum it up.
Yeah, Prime Day is always one of those things where, maybe a lot unlike Black Friday, it is very much you have no idea what you're going to get in terms of like what's going to be a good deal. It's much more, it's much more of a surprise. It's a lot more random. When I had more time to do random stuff during Prime Day, and I did a couple of years a version of like the best PC build you could do with Prime Day deals. Oh man, it's like exponentially harder. Like
Really?
it's so hard to find stuff. Whereas on Black Friday, it's a lot of work because I have to sift through more things, but I can actually put together decent builds. It's not like, oh, can I?
There was a lot of cool deals on like peripherals and monitors and whatnot, but the things that I got most pumped about was AMD Ryzen processors got real cheap. That was sweet, and we actually saw some like 5060 Ti and 9060 XT class cards selling for around MSRP, like only a $10 markup.
Woohoo!
So that counts as a Prime Day deal to me, man.
What a deal.
Yeah, that's the state of things right now.
Well, and this was the first year we had a live blog, right? How did that go?
It was live.
Yeah. Well, what do you do? You just dump. You're like, oh, check it out. It's a new deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was fun because Brad actually told me, he's like, now you have more leeway. You can like do fun stuff. And I was like, oh, can I?
The fun stuff.
There might be a Hello Kitty cushion in that list.
Oh.
Cushion?
Okay.
Oh.
Well, now I'm bummed I missed that deal. That sounds pretty fun. Yeah.
Well,
nice.
So one of the things I saw that kind of surprised me is I usually cruise by Shuckstop, shucks.top, the place where you go to find external hard drive deals that you can shuck to put in your NAS.
I was like, are you doing Oyster?
You and Brad Shoemaker.
But it's the same concept, right? Like, because you're basically
Yeah.
taking external hard drives and you're removing them so you can like get the actual drive out for your gigantic freaking data hoarder collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Look, we don't need to, no judging, please.
It wasn't judging, it was observing.
Well, they had a big notification on top of their page that was like, hey, Amazon kicked us off the API because they don't like sites that do pricing history anymore, which I thought was really, really kind of bad, actually.
Interesting.
Because now you have to click through, like that. You basically, you don't get live Amazon prices on those external hard drives there anymore, which really sucks. Because they used to do like 52-week. They used to give you like, hey, this is the 52-week low for this price, or this is the all-time low, or
much
whatever.
more advanced.
And they're having to pull all that stuff out, which sucks.
Keepa was still working during the week, so hopefully that doesn't get nuked. Like I think Camel, and Keepa were still both working.
I'll have to chat in.
But you do have to actually go to the site. So they're basically extensions that you install, and then when you're on that page for the product, then it'll show you like the available history.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's not as good as what you're describing because yours is like basically pushing it to you and aggregating it for you, but it's better than nothing.
It was really targeted for a specific kind of nerd, right?
Nerd.
People who really love packing stuff up.
Nerd. Well, speaking of nerds, Brad got recognized in the wild recently.
Again.
Yeah.
Woo.
I did, yeah. I was sitting at a bar last week and hanging out with somebody I actually played pool with at another bar before. I'm from New England, so I sit at bars sometimes. And we were just chatting back and forth. Had no idea what each other did for a living. I'm like, yeah, I work for a computer magazine. He's like, I thought you looked familiar. Are you Brad from the Full Nerd from PCWorld? 'Cause it's really weird to me because that happens to me more often up here in Little New Hampshire than it seems to for all you guys in San Francisco. And it's really fascinating to me that happens.
Well, you're the famous one of the show. Yeah. Sorry, Will.
You're the most famous.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Look,
Right.
I endeavor to never leave the house, if we're being honest. Like my
Except for
dream
Taco
life-
Bell. Come on, that Pacifica Taco Bell.
But I go to they have a pickup window outside now, so I just go up to the little window and they're like, "Oh, hey, we know you. Here
Spoilers. Yeah.
you go." Yeah.
Okay.
And
I have this image of you not even in your car, but you just got a hoodie on and you like walk up. And you're just
I mean,
It was like
I
big
often-
glasses and like a mask and everything. Yeah.
Like we'll often do
Give
the
me my
bike
Taco
ride
Bell.
over, just walk over and grab tacos and then sit on the beach and eat tacos. Yeah.
Nice.
That doesn't sound half bad.
I mean, it's the best Taco Bell. It's still Taco Bell at the end of the day.
I love
That's
Taco
the original
Bell.
one, right?
I love Taco.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't
think
it's
it's
the
just-
first one.
it's just
the
fames.
fanciest one. Well, you know what sounds worse than Taco Bell is
Almost everything.
yeah, that okay, true. We'll just lump that in there with Windows AI search. If you haven't heard about this awesome newsletter called next.content.town, you should go subscribe to it. Written by one William Smith here, and you put out your recent issue. Is it an issue? No.
It's like, look, a newsletter is just a blog with email attached, right?
Yeah. Your recent email. Like what's
Latest
the
missive.
Missive.
Will.
I don't even know what a missive is. There we go. So your latest missive was about this new AI search thing, which I've been setting up. We got in the HP ZBook Ultra G1A, the laptop that has the Strix Halo chip in it. And so I was setting up 3 laptops like brand new. And going through my configuration stuff, and I always have Task Manager open, and I noticed I was like, man, something's hitting that NPU real hard. What the hell? Why is that doing that? I've never seen that before. That's weird. And then I got your email, being like, hey, I noticed my NPU is getting hit hard. What happened? What happened here, Will?
Yeah, so we finished the full nerd last week, and we were going to lunch, and I was like, oh, I have a Windows update. I'll just hit the button and see what comes down the pipe when I get back from lunch. And I came back from lunch, and I launched an application the same way I always do, by hitting the Windows key and typing the name of the application. And then it took me to a website for the application instead of the application, which shouldn't happen because I did the thing months ago to disable Bing results in my Windows Start menu.
Same.
And so I dug in and I went to settings to see if that had gotten turned back on, and I searched in settings and it did the same thing. Like, it took me to a web result instead of the actual result that I wanted. I was like, why my search isn't deterministic? I like it when the search here is this is a good place for deterministic search. And at that moment I realized that the icon had changed from the classic Windows magnifying glass search icon to a magnifying glass with little sparkles next to it, which means, the sparkles are bad.
It's full of AI now.
They're making me hate sparkles. Okay. And, that's exactly what had happened. They AI'd up my search. It's only on Copilot Plus PCs for right now, because you need an NPU. This is what they're using those 50 top or 40 tops that are required, whatever it is, for. And they replaced search in a couple of places in Windows. It's in the search bar. They call this semantic search, by the way. It's in the search bar on your taskbar, the one that everybody turns off here between the start menu and the icons. And it's in the start menu, it's in settings, and it's in File Explorer. Now, I tested all of them out long enough to know which ones I liked and which ones I absolutely had no use for whatsoever. The File Explorer one was kind of okay because it let you semantic search through photos and stuff like that, which kind of useful, right? Like being able to search, hey, I want a picture of a dog.
Oh, so
That's great.
it's actually like detecting things in the photos.
Yeah. A useful feature for normal humans.
Interesting.
Now, the problem is I don't save all my photos on my laptop because I have terabytes and terabytes of them, and the laptop does not have terabytes and terabytes of storage. And also I pay 2 different cloud providers and have a locally hosted thing that do the exact same thing. So it's completely useless. And it's something I do maybe like twice a month versus 15 or 20 or 40 times a day, depending on how productive I am. So I turned that off. I was like, okay, this is good, but I got to turn the other ones off. And then when I started doing the research to find out how to turn them off, it's all or nothing. Microsoft views this as, according to PC Magazine, Microsoft views. Sorry, I know it was the only place that's covered this.
Wow.
Microsoft views semantic search as a core part of Windows. Oh no, this was according to WindowsForum.com. Sorry. They don't provide an easy way to pick and choose where it's enabled, and the way that I as I often do when I'm in this situation, I start testing different ways that people say you can turn off these annoying features.
Always be testing.
Yeah, that's what we say here.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So I did the first one, which is using this thing called Vive Tool, which a Reddit user PhantomOcean3 pointed me to. Vive Tool is
that's a really good user.
It is a good username. Vive Tool lets you manipulate the A/B testing mechanisms that Microsoft ships in Windows now, so you can get on the side that you want, even if they put you on the other side of the A/B test.
Huh.
And
super useful.
It is incredibly. I had no idea this tool existed, and I already love it.
Wow.
Except for reasons you'll see in the future. Maybe it doesn't matter that much anymore to me. So I had a way to turn it off using Vive Tool. I did that, and now I can't turn it back on. So when I went to get screenshots for this article, I had to go find them on the web because I couldn't turn it back on the only Copilot Plus PC I had access to. And anyway, so if you're going to use the Vive Tool thing, which is ./ViveTool/disable/ID:479427114.
It's like a monitor name.
Yeah.
It really is. Then you reboot, and the AI search will be back to the good deterministic search that's been around since Windows 7.
Wait, so and this is only for people who have a NPU above 40 tops. Is that what the Copilot Plus recommendation?
It's only
was?
Copilot Plus PCs for now.
So see, if you would have listened to Intel and got a Meteor Lake laptop, you wouldn't be in this problem.
My battery life would also be a lot worse.
No more table hitting.
Oh, sorry.
The TLDR, though, is that this was the thing that finally pushed me over the edge. And I installed Cache as soon as I finished writing this post. Actually, as soon as I finished figuring out this post, I installed Cache OS, which is an Arch Linux variant. And I've been running that on the laptop ever since. It turns out it's really nice. It's super fast.
This pushed you
It's
over
really
the edge,
easy.
man. Wow.
Yeah.
Microsoft did it. They finally found the one thing that will push them over the edge.
If you go read Will's post, like, again, you can share the URL or whatever if you'd like. Like, it's pretty bad. Like, I was reading that, and I'm like, when you search for update, it was bringing up Discord updating executables rather than Windows update.
Is it one of those things that should
makes no
learn
sense.
over time though? To be like, okay, I search for Discord and then I'm going to go hit the actual application link.
I don't care.
It should know right now that when you search for update, it's not looking to update Discord executables.
It's yeah. Oh, sorry, Lena.
Oh, I was just going to say, it just feels very much like forcing a bunch of people to be beta testers, right? So like they're probably tracking the usage, how often people click on this or that, and if, basically determine if it's helpful. And it's I would say, assume that it's helping to train, like, to the things that, as Will is pointing out, already work in this other form of search. So yeah, this is the downside of the operating system, quote unquote, being free.
Yeah,
I'm a little more cynical. I think, as we saw recently, like with Office, Microsoft 365, as they call it now, not enough people were using AI stuff, so they just said, "Hey, everyone has AI now, and we're charging everybody $5 or $10 more a month to deal with it." I suspect that the AI stuff in Windows isn't getting a ton of usage, and now every time someone searches for something, they'll say, "Hey, that's a daily active user for AI Copilot stuff right there."
Oh, because that's what they do for Bing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why Bing is such a huge success, is because anytime you fat finger Photoshop when you're typing Photoshop into the start menu, it opens Photoshop results on Bing, Microsoft's number one search platform. And as a result, the bars go up for them. Everybody wins except for the user. But for me, this is like a double regression. It was a lot slower, like noticeably slower getting the results up. And it wasn't giving me the results that I wanted consistently enough within 5 minutes of use that I was like, oh no, this has got to go. This is real bad.
Huh. But have there been numbers of like how many actual Copilot Plus PCs have been sold? Because I thought that was one of the things that people were talking about in the past couple months of like, hey, you know what? Copilot Plus isn't selling.
I think Mark covered that for us.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
We actually, the end of June was the 1 year anniversary of the Copilot Plus initiative. And I'm going to try to find the article right now. But Mark talked to folks from IDC and somewhere else, 2 or 3 analysts, to get a feel for Copilot Plus numbers, and they're very low.
Yeah, so then it could also be not, maybe they're trying to juice the numbers, but also maybe they're also just trying to use beta testers.
I was about to say, like, why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
Yeah, I don't think it's an either or situation.
Yeah, well, because I haven't experienced it yet. Has anybody else experienced it, Brad, Alina?
No, my laptop is old, and I'm kind of grateful for that now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
have a $2,000 GPU, but I still can't access AI features for some reason.
Actually,
so now I have.
Maybe that's a feature, not a bug. Yeah, because like I said, I was setting up those laptops and I saw that, but I'm using those laptops right now to test, so I haven't like used it. And even though this has a dedicated NPU, this is running Chrome OS, so I can't. I haven't come across it. Oh, and my work machine at home. My desktop doesn't have an NPU, so yeah, I haven't experienced it. So Will's the lone man here.
It's for me, it just reminds me of the Windows 8 shift when they were like, hey, we realize that there are 2 billion PCs out there running Windows 7 that are on monitors and mice and keyboards. And there's like 18 people who bought tablets so far. But we're going to completely revamp the entire main Windows UI to suit those 18 people using tablets. And everybody else is going to come along. And it's going to be bad for everybody unless you're on a tablet. But those 2 billion people can just, pound sand and buy a new computer. And you're going to have to learn to deal with it, because what are you going to do? Run Linux?
I got him.
Yeah.
Well, has anybody turned on recall? Actually, first question, has anybody gotten the notification to turn on recall?
I got the notification.
I did too. Did you get notification?
No.
Brad?
I have not touched the Copilot laptop yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I got this on my desktop.
What, really?
Yeah, I did. I'm pretty sure.
That shouldn't happen.
Oh, maybe maybe it was on my laptop. Because you have to have an NPU.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't on my desktop.
It was probably on your
It was on my other
laptop.
laptop. Yeah. I did not turn it on. No.
No, me either.
Sorry. Go ahead, Brad.
My PC is powerful enough to run, path trace Cyberpunk at 200 and something frames a second, but it's not powerful enough to run AI semantic search, apparently.
That's like, I thought that was a bad thing when they said that they were requiring MPUs and weren't going to provide APIs to discrete GPU vendors to tap into this Copilot Plus stuff. But it seems like a real, hey, the monkey's paw curls, the monkey's paw uncurls.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Huh. Interesting. We have somebody asking, maybe it might be a joke. What is recall? Yeah, it's the thing where it'll take snapshots of your screen and store them locally, supposedly.
I mean, there's also a meta joke in there, like, what is recall? They can't recall it.
That's what they're doing. Sorry.
Windows integrated spyware is
I
how
didn't have caffeine this
it.
morning, so I'm slow.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Actually,
you guys...
I was going to say, the one thing that recall has done for me,
what has recall done for you lately?
it has made me very aware of all the screenshots that I take just normally. Where I'm like, I see something on Reddit or something that's like maybe not safe for work as a joke with friends, and I send them right? And I'm like, man, I should just start clearing these out regularly, because I've never had to be worried before that something or some piece of software like my whole operating system might come in and catalog all of it and make it very available potentially to other people by accident. Who knows?
Yeah, is this semantic search? It's being sold as local only. It's not pinging the server.
Yeah, it's supposed to be local only, but I didn't look at the data use policy or anything to see what they're doing with the, with the parsing that they do, the indexing they do of your photos and stuff like that.
But so here's my concern with things that they still promote as local only. That's ideally, right? That's the ideal. But it doesn't take into account what vulnerabilities could exist, what exploits that people can then find for any vulnerabilities, because there's really no code out there that is perfect and lacking zero vulnerabilities.
Well,
right?
and
It's
what
just a
about,
matter of people finding them and deciding to exploit them based on their severity. So when they say something to me, as someone who's a little bit more paranoid, especially given what I cover for the site these days, I always wonder, okay, that's the ideal scenario. What happens when it's not ideal?
Yeah, because if you get compromised, somebody could then, sure, it's local only, but it can get compromised and not be local only, even if Microsoft isn't doing it.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
Well, no, I mean,
like
anything can have a vulnerability, so you're right, Yeah.
You think about crossing borders and stuff like that too, right? Like I don't want to cross a border and give access to the border inspection folks to the entire history of everything I've ever done on the computer by way of recall. I'm not doing anything wrong. But no, thank you.
I don't know about that.
But that's
I don't
the
know
thing.
about that, Will. Sorry.
Are you doing nothing wrong in our country, but you are doing something wrong in a different country, right? Because who knows?
Yeah.
The laws are different.
Is this weird for me to say that now I kind of really want to try it just to see how bad it is?
I do too.
Yeah, right.
100% do too.
Yeah, because I'm wondering now I just want to experience typing into a search bar and being like, that has nothing to do with what I wanted to do.
Well, look,
I mean, you can do that
mental
just
illness
by doing any AI search right now.
True.
But like the mental illness that comes with doing this work for a really long time and thinking, oh man, there's probably a really great series of blogs and podcasts about this if I turn this on. It was definitely there. Like I definitely looked at it, I was like, maybe it's time.
Always be testing.
Let's go. Yeah.
Well, and then you turned it into future coverage for Linux. Which,
It's the first time I've ever had to turn something off that I couldn't turn back on, to the point that I had to go get screenshots someplace else, though. I was really that's never happened before. I've always been able to turn it back on, but this Vive tool thing just completely nuked it from orbit, and it's gone.
Weird.
I even tried like uninstalling and reinstalling the update, doing a system restore, the whole thing.
Oh.
Nothing worked. It's
Really?
gone. It's dead to me. Yeah. So maybe that they're A/B testing the semantic search right now to see if people like it. Because it also was like lousy with, hey, this is AI search and it may not be reliable. And do you have feedback on this? Every time you used it, it was like, hey, man, do you have any feedback on this semantic search? We'd love to know what you think about it. I gave them some feedback.
I bet you did. Yeah.
Good. Good.
Yeah, the number of times I've used the feedback tool to politely but very clearly outline my feelings is definitely beyond single digits at this point.
The problem is it's being read by an AI, and maybe they're like, oh, they don't like us? Wow.
I was not polite, Elena.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting in chat. There's a couple of different people who've brought up this point. I think Greg M is one of them. They point out, and I hadn't considered this angle honestly, because we come at everything from a consumer viewpoint, which is that recall could actually be lawyers' best friends in discovery. Like when you're doing things for corporate stuff, or like if IT wants proof that you've been using your hardware for things that are outside company policy, man, this is really useful for that.
Well, but but a company policy has their own like data retention kind of thing.
It
So
does.
yeah, I wonder
But imagine
how
how
that
much
conflicts.
Imagine how much easier it is, right? Where if semantic search were able to work, right? And in the way that we think of when we think of like Star Trek and things like that, where like computer, tell me this or tell me that.
Earl Grey, hot.
Right. Yeah. If you say, hey, Copilot, find every instance that this person has taken screenshots of this, company server that isn't supposed to be private, or, tell me what their activity was like from the hours of 3 to 5 p.m. Things like that. Because it's company property, they have full right to do whatever they want with it.
True. Why do you always say Earl Grey hot? Why didn't he just do natural diction? He just
because you had to tell the computer what you wanted, then you had to give modifiers at the end of it.
I know, but
right?
it was the future. In the future, he was talking to data like a real person, but not to the computer that was giving him Earl Grey hot.
His name's Data, A.
Sorry.
And B, the library computer that runs the enterprise is a different scale of computer. Commander Data's positronic brain is a marvel of future technology. The library computer is just like an IBM PC from 1980 scaled up to Starship form.
I always thought of it as just the computer form of a card catalog, like I
Oh
don't know
my
if anyone.
God.
I know I'm old. But going into the libraries and just you have to know the system. You had to go find the rights.
This is the angriest I've ever been here.
What? I have a soft
Commander
spot.
Data. No, not you and Adam. I'm just reeling.
Data. Sorry.
Good
Whatever.
God, man.
No, but really, like, why didn't he just say, "Hey, I want a Earl Grey," or he should have just said, "I want tea," and the computer would have known what he wanted. I mean, he always got Earl Grey hot, right?
It's the same with AI semantic search, man. It just doesn't work.
Man,
Yeah.
he didn't have that NPU in the enterprise.
Also,
No, man.
it is I guess paramilitary, but it's like a military force. I mean, it's a command. Like they're trying to be as efficient and quick as possible.
Look, I guarantee you that Commander Pulaski ordered her tea by like having a nice chat with the computer. But Picard's a precise dude. He's a military bearing. He's going to come in. He's going to hit it exactly on the head with no ambiguity for the computer to mess up his order. He's going to be like, "Hey, man, I want a brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tart toasted medium well, frosting side up in the toaster. And I want it to 70 degrees Celsius, no hotter, no colder."
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of that scene with Star Trek, if we're going to go down this rabbit hole, is that in some ways it implies how sophisticated and personalized that computer system probably is. Because for him to just say hot, it means it's probably recognizing his voice, and it knows already what his preference is for hot. He doesn't have to specify, I want it at 100 degrees Celsius.
But wouldn't he just say, give me tea? Because it would
what
also
if he-
know
what
that
if
he just
also-
wants Earl Grey.
What if
and he
he
wants it hot.
only drinks it hot when he's on shift, but maybe he likes an iced version of it when he's off duty? We
No.
don't see that much of his private life.
No.
Nope. The
There's no
English
way.
don't drink iced tea ever.
Yeah. Sorry.
We don't. He's French. He's French.
Well, he
He sounds English to me. Anyway.
he's French.
Now I'm picturing him there with a big old thing of sweet tea and some chicken and
Yeah.
waffles.
That's not-
computer, chicken and waffles,
He's
hot.
French and he's well traveled. He probably Starfleet Academy is based in San Francisco, so he probably spent some time in America. That's
Yeah,
all
how
I'm
could
saying.
man? See, you get mad at
The
me
US.
for mispronouncing Data's name, but you thought he was English. He's
you had
French.
to pause.
Jeez.
You had to pause to say Data there. That's not okay, man.
Data, whatever.
Yeah, sometimes he drinks an oolong, man. If he wants to wind down at the end of the night, he
but
gets in there
listen,
with a Russian white.
That is this something you read in like the Star Trek expanded universe and the novels
yes,
or something?
I read a lot of the TNG expanded universe novels. It's fine.
Actually,
don't judge me.
I did read
I'm
some
not
of
going
those
to
too,
judge
yeah.
you. I was more of an original series extended universe
I
person.
read
though.
Really?
I read through like the first 150 of those, Elena. Those were canon for me.
Wow. And did he ever drink iced tea?
Will
Killer with the
casually,
girls, let me
just
tell you.
casually backing up like a bulldozer of like, my nerdery is just far superior to yours, and I'm like, I concede, sir. I concede.
Okay.
This no matter who wins, we both lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Congratulations,
You know what? We both came to the word missive together. It was a beautiful moment.
nerds. All right. Windows AI search. I want to try it out. Yeah. I want to report back. I want to hear how it goes. You know who else had it? Oh, before we do that, actually, we're gonna actually.
You and Elena should do that.
You know what we should
Good.
do is a pause for our sponsor, Fractal Design. Check it out. They got this new gaming headset right here on the table. Not only that, Will is wearing his, Brad's wearing his. Like Brad's got it wired in. Looks like Will's doing it wireless, right?
I'm free wire.
Yeah, you could have it Bluetooth. It comes with this charging stand that's magnetic, right? Is that look at you? Literally,
magnets.
yeah. How do they work?
How do
we
they-
don't know.
yeah. No.
But it's got a good grip to it, so it's not like you're gonna knock it off too hard.
What is that? You a cat?
Yeah, it's cat proof. Well, this one doesn't have the stick on it.
I didn't take the sticky stuff off because
you gotta stick it. It's got the dongle. It's got the retractable, not retractable. What would you say this is?
It unfolds.
A folding microphone?
Folding? Yeah,
No.
but it's
flip
muted
up.
when it's up.
Flip
It's
up.
on when it's down.
Yeah.
And it has noise canceling, which is nice.
And you can have side tone.
Yeah, $200 on Amazon or Newegg. Links down in the description. I gotta say, I know we talked about this last week, but my favorite thing is the feel of this knob on the back. Like, yeah,
Cranking it right now.
yeah. Which is a bummer because it's tied to volume. And yeah, if I were to just mess with it all day, I would just be jacking up the volume all day. But yeah,
I've been using it a lot. Like I've been using it, wearing it to walk around, listen to Spotify off my phone, in Bluetooth mode, using it while gaming. Now using it on my computers and stuff, obviously. The thing I really like about it so far that I don't test too many headsets, so I might be completely noob at this, but it actually uses the Windows dynamic lighting feature, the centrally controlled RGB thing. You can then also opt to go into the web-based interface and do it yourself, but this is the first peripheral that I've touched that actually uses Windows dynamic lighting, and I wish a lot more of them did. So props to Practical Design for that.
And it pops immediately. It pops
Yeah, it
immediately
does.
as soon as you plug it in. So I think you all talked about it last week about how also you can just do all the configuration through a website, which as somebody who's had to deal with different software and then also like even with keyboards, right? Same. It's really nice to just be able to do that off a browser.
yeah. Like I would call these headphones like just like Fractal, right? Very very basic. but not in a bad term. Like basic, like it's
Minimal.
not. It's not minimal. There we go. That's a
In a
better
good
word.
way.
It's not overloaded with stupid features like fake surround sound, things like that. It's like no, we'll give you EQ curves. We'll let you adjust the lighting. Things like that. But we're not gonna stuff it to the gills with a bunch of random stuff that you're never gonna use.
Yeah,
But they
in a good way.
They do
In a
go
good
all
way.
out though on the controls. That's one thing I did actually really like, which is.
You mean
Wow.
like the
Yeah, like I
equalization?
don't know if the camera can pick this up.
Oh,
but
the
there's-
controls on
There's
the
like
here.
so many things that are just right on the headphones, and there's been a trend, or there was a trend when I was reviewing, where they would try to put some of that just in the software, and it's so irritating.
Yeah.
It's like cars where they're like, we're just gonna put everything on this touchscreen so that when you're driving at 70 miles an hour, you can be like, "Meh."
Yeah, you can flip through 3 EQ presets. It's got lighting. It's got the mic mute back here. It has a little toggle for the Bluetooth, like which kind of connection, power button, charging. So yeah, you can charge it or connect it straight through the headphones, or it comes with this dock, which has a separate dongle that you either plug into the dock and then plug the dock in, or you can actually just go straight into the computer with the dongle if you don't want to use the dock. So yeah, and it's got that nice design aesthetic to it that Fractal's
It's
known
very
for,
Fractal.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, very Swedish, right? Is that the right word? Swedish? Are they Swedish?
I mean, I would just say Scandinavian.
Scandinavian design, yes. So, and then Will
My
is in the
lights.
dark. Oh yeah, you
got
can
my
see the
lights
lights. Are you configuring the lights as we speak?
I'm configuring with WDL. I didn't realize that you could do that, and that's awesome. I've never done this before.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah, it was the same for me. I had never touched it before. I loaded
Windows
these up. I'm like, oh,
dynamic
cool.
lighting. Which
Yeah.
is it's hilarious that you both are saying this, because how many years did we go saying, please, somebody centralize this. Microsoft, why won't you get involved? And now it's here. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah.
Well, the tricky part is finding vendors that will actually support it over
I
their
know.
proprietary
I know.
software. So, thumbs
Yeah.
up.
So,
Yeah.
and like I've always said, you should be thinking about audio as much as you think about the visuals when you're gaming. So if you're interested, use the link in the description. Go pick up a nice, practical, beautiful looking pair of headphones today. Thank you, Fractal, for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go on to other news, which includes Intel. They came out and said it. They came out and said,
What?
you know what? We're not on top. You know, we're not even. I think he said we're not even in the top 10 of advanced fabs right now. And by he, I mean the actually, I don't know the name of the
Boom.
The new.
yeah the new
Lip
CEO.
Tan, the new CEO.
Yeah. So yeah, Brad, what happened here? Is this something somebody caught off mic? In a back room and is like, whoops, I didn't mean to say that.
It was actually at a company-wide meeting of employees. So the opposite of that. Probably something they ideally didn't wish was reported on or caught on, whatever it was caught on. But yeah, he was talking to Intel employees. They're laying off lots and lots of people. And the new CEO basically is just like, yeah, we're not a top 10 chip maker anymore. Like, Nvidia's already won the training side of AI and stuff like that. It's not even worth it for us. Like, we're not even top 10 semiconductor company anymore. So just brutal things to hear from your new boss as he's laying off thousands of people.
I mean, it's very practical, right? I mean, is he wrong?
I would still call Intel a top 10 chip company.
Do you think he's trying to light fire under people's butts?
I don't know. I think he's trying to drum up reasons to lay off that many people. I actually firmly disagree with the way Intel is going right now after separating from Pat Gelsinger. I think that the foundry model that they had in place was actually a good thing for the future, and it seems like they're trying to ease back on that under Lip Bhutan. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean,
what were you counting over here, Will?
I was counting fabs, chip companies, and I got
As
to
you do.
7. Yeah. So I think they're top 10, but I was thinking they were top 5, and then I remembered Samsung and TSMC probably should be counted in there somewhere. And
Probably.
TSMC seems important.
Probably.
Maybe just a little.
ARM probably is up there, I guess. I don't know if they count as a chip company, if they're a tech company. Like this is a weird situation, but yeah, like they're squeaking out the top 10. I think. I don't know. I feel I agree with Brad though. I think that backing off of Foundry, like. I guess can you have a sunk cost fallacy for something that you've already spent billions of dollars on? It seems like you should, like, once you spend a couple of 9-digit numbers or 10-digit numbers, you're probably pretty tied to that strategy. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, wasn't there another report recently too about how 18A is running into problems?
The reports are that 18A will no longer be something that they sell out of Foundry.
Yeah.
It'll be internal process only. So Panther Lake.
Is that because it's too good to give to other people, or is that because maybe they have decades of bad manufacturing pipeline that no one else wants to come on board with, and they're having issues getting customers to buy into their nonsense?
Wow, well,
Yeah,
that
they were.
sorry. Sounds vaguely judgmental.
We're judging
There have been
all day today.
There have been reports that folks like Broadcom, like Nvidia, have been testing out the 18A process. Unverified reports, but pretty well sourced reports, and coming away with little issues. So I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of tied. Maybe 18A is not quite ready where it's at, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, they haven't officially announced anything yet, but it definitely seems like it's a bigger hurdle than they thought it would
Well,
be.
wasn't there a report saying that they were skipping, 20A because 18A was doing so well that they were just going to go straight to 18A?
But that was last year or earlier this year.
Yeah. Man, can't catch a break, guys. Whoa.
No, they also just this week they RealSense cameras, like the depth sensing cameras, they spun that out as its own new company as well. So they kicked that out the door, even though I thought that was like one of the better auxiliary technologies to come out of Intel over the last 15 years or so.
Well, yeah, but like you said, shedding a lot of other things. I mean, they had already shed Optane, so there's kind of a precedence for that.
It makes me worried about the discrete graphics division, which stinks because, like, I think Intel. Steve did that video the other day at Gamers Nexus. Save us, Intel, your only hope. Go watch it if you haven't yet. It's a good video. But to hear Lip-Bhutan saying all of this stuff and saying that NVIDIA is already won in training, we need to try to win at the client side, makes me nervous about the future of discrete graphics.
I think discrete graphics. I think if they kill discrete graphics, they're saying, "Hey, we're not going to own client, or we're going to own neither part of the AI pipeline." I also like if the AI stuff collapses, though. I think the graphics division is boned.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep like supercharging up internal integrated graphics rather than keeping discrete graphics, which I hope doesn't happen. But I don't know. Bad winds blowing over at Intel these days.
It is interesting, though, especially considering it from the viewpoint of Will saying, is this a move in the direction of trying to avoid the sunk cost fallacy, right? Because probably at this point, decades, Intel had built out a certain, I wouldn't say perception, reputation for how they were going to conduct themselves, how they're going to do business. They had a lot of, kind of interesting, sometimes even very niche projects, right? Like Intel, like mini PCs. They're huge right now, but it's in large part because Intel was really pushing them about a decade ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's sometimes, you look at what executives are saying across different companies, and sometimes it almost sometimes seems like companies tend to move in similar directions, and a lot of other companies have kind of shed or are trying to shed like legacy perceptions, right? Like, for example, Microsoft a decade ago decided like, we're not in the business of just a singular product that we're selling. We are in the business of services, right? And there's a huge movement towards that. And I just wonder if a lot of these execs are feeling pressure that they have to like shed extra weight. They have in their, maybe from their point of view, and they have to become leaner, and they have to ditch all these side projects, and they have to abandon all these things that have very fixed costs, right? But yeah, I I just don't know if that's the right move when you have such investment in things in a certain way.
Well, Intel has had attention span problems for decades now, right? Like, we can talk about Larrabee, we can talk about the first wave of GPUs in the 90s, we can talk about they've done this and then they've lost attention, or it hasn't panned out immediately, and they've pulled the ripcord at the first sign of any kind of weakness, and then they had to then recreate, start from scratch again 5 years later on all of those initiatives, because they didn't have they couldn't balance the quarterly needs of shareholders to make the bar go up and to the right with, hey, semiconductor progress takes a long time and a buttload of money. And like Dr. Ian Cutress, a friend of the show, Tech Potato, and I talked about this a couple months ago in some videos that just went up the last week or two with the fab stuff. And like, I don't know how a company like Intel that doesn't have an incredibly strong cash position and a bunch of money and like the weight of the stock market behind it can do the work that they need to do to build next gen cutting edge fabs like 18A and the stuff that comes after it. I just don't know how they do it. There's the reason I'm not a CEO of Intel, I guess, but yeah, like it's an incredibly, those things are seemingly incompatible from where I sit, right? Hey, we got to spend $10 billion on this thing, and also it's not going to show money for the first 5 years. How do you make that happen? I don't know.
Yeah. It's also making me think, because I think I mentioned this recently. I've been going back and listening to old episodes just because I'd been missing Gordon, and I think it was episode 3 or 2 or something like that. Yeah. A decade ago, Gordon was talking about Broadwell E, and the 10 cores is $100 or $1,700 23 or $1,723, whatever. And like the tone was just so different than where we are today, because it was just like stagnation. Zen hadn't come out. So it was just like, all right, well, you've got 8 cores, or that one was a 10 core, right? And it's just like the talk around everything was just like, yeah, but games don't need it. Maybe if you're doing video production, maybe you need more than 4 cores. Actually, the conversation turned for a little bit where he's like, man, I wish we had things that could use all these cores. What if, like you guys started talking about like bringing Clippy back, and what if like you could use all the cores in your machine to have Clippy write a paper for you? And I was like, oh no, Gordon was describing the AI stuff that we're in now.
Oh no.
And he was hoping for it, because he's like, yeah, I can't wait for something to use all these cores. Like, imagine it just writes for you, which is kind of fun. Side
quite
tangent.
Work out that way.
But yeah, that's where we were. Intel was just at the top of the jokes about, what are you going to go buy an AMD chip? No, they own the CPU market, and now it's just completely different.
10 years ago, there were real concerns that AMD was going to go bankrupt before Zen came out. That was their Hail Mary. And Intel was known as Chipzilla. What a difference 10 years makes.
Well, I remember, and I can't remember if it was on a this is only on a tested podcast or on or just us chatting, because we would talk about stuff at night, especially when you guys were starting the Full Nerd, because he was like, hey, it looks like Moore's Law is boned, right? And what are we gonna do? How does a PC enthusiast stuff live in a world where there's no doubling of number of transistors in every 18 months? And we had a real, it was a thing he thought about, right? It was a thing that I thought about. It was one of the reasons I left Maximum PCs, because I was like, I don't know if this stuff's going to still be here in 10 years, and I got to be able to make money for longer than this. And yeah, I never in a million years, even in that time period, would have thought, oh yeah, Intel's going to be on the ropes in a decade. It seemed impossible. So it's somebody in the chat, I'm sorry I didn't grab the names, a few minutes ago said the discrete GPU markets, their share is so small that it doesn't matter, and they should be focusing on what they're good at, which is CPUs, which is I think a great example of the kind of thinking that is absolutely not what they need right now, right? Leaning like GPUs, especially discrete GPUs on the desktop, but really the whole GPU market in general is in a complete state of flux because of Nvidia's situation with regards to AI and their kind of, I don't want to say lack of interest, because they're clearly interested still. And there's a lot of people over there that are interested, I know, but like it's an increasingly irrelevant part of the their market for them. And the fact that they see no competition at the high end, and that all of this stuff is in flux, and that we don't know what new consoles are going to look like, and like there's a million reasons that investing in a market where they don't have any market share is a great place for them to grow, and show growth that can move the needle for them to get the stock market behind them, which lets them then take chances in other markets and stuff like that. So anyway.
But I think, I think from a broad view, that's very true. But I think in a practical application, like where's the scale for that, right? Like I think when they're trying to figure out that kind of investment, they'd have to decide whether or not they think they can get enough traction and fast enough to warrant it. And I think that's why we haven't seen movement the way we've wanted to, even when they entered the discrete GPU market. It's just concerning in general. I think in some ways this is it's really a related topic to the idea, like, because Moore's law is broken, because we can't operate under the same assumptions that we did a decade ago when we first started this podcast. What does the future overall of computing look like? I mean, I just had a talk yesterday actually with one of the vendors who does case stuff and other things, but they were talking generally about the market, and the one things they were saying is that they were like, I think we've gotten to a point where for most people, I mean, our group, obviously, everyone who's listening right now, not quite the same as your general mainstream user, but for most people, the compute power out there, even at a budget level, is more than enough, like way more than enough. Before, it was kind of, it's like this, we've seen this across, other things too, where it's like, before you were always pushing to get a faster internet speed because, you needed every single bit of bandwidth that you could get just so that it wasn't painful to be on the internet. And now I can comfortably sit on a very cheap plan at like 300 megabits down. Like, would I love gig internet? Yeah, of course. But how often am I really going to be using that or saturating that? Like, I'm not Will, who's like at home, like really pushing huge files every day, right?
Why'd you point to him?
I mean, you come here.
Your files
I have 10
gig.
gig.
You come here to promote your biggest files, mostly. Just
Tiny
say
files for babies over there.
And so it makes you wonder too, like, is this floundering? I mean, that's my word for it. Like you see with just all these companies, not only Intel, is it just that everyone's kind of lacking a map, in their heads now for where we go with all of this, because it's in some ways it's uncharted, but uncharted in a way that people haven't realized it's uncharted, because you have all this like legacy expectations hanging over your head. And I feel like, at least for me, it's a lot harder to make decisions and know where to go when you have all that in the back of your head, as opposed to just going into something fresh and being like, well, I just got to carve some path for myself.
One of the things that's really interesting about all this stuff is a lot of opportunity came in the last 2 decades when storage online got really cheap, right? So like Google built a copy of the web and used that to develop their search engine. And a side effect of that was, we have a whole buttload of hard drives plugged into these computers that have 1 gigabyte of operating system and a few gigabytes of a little chunk of the web. And then there's also like 80 gigabytes free on each of these drives, or 200 gigabytes or whatever, some amount of just slack space. And they said, if we make this available to sell or to use for Gmail or whatever, then it opens the door for a bunch of other stuff. And then, Amazon did the same thing when they built AWS to serve Amazon, right? When instead of just continuing to use a bunch of MySQL and LAMP stacks and stuff like that to serve Amazon, they built a back-end infrastructure with APIs to serve Amazon. We haven't seen the cost of compute scale down in the same way that we saw the cost of storage. Like if you look at a chart of this cost of storage over the last 20 years online, it got down to basically nothing 10 years ago, and it stayed there. And compute has stayed kind of expensive. So if whoever, like, I think once that happened, we've kind of been in a little bit of a singularity where we don't know what the outcome is going to be, right? We're into this space. Some stuff happened. Moore's law stopped increasing. GPU compute got really important and powerful while not getting any cheaper. Crypto and AI and a bunch of other stuff increased demand for compute without any real applications, it turns out. And like, we're going to end up in a situation, if the AI stuff collapses, like I feel like it's going to, we're in this weird situation where we're going to have a buttload of compute and absolutely no applications for it. And nobody knows what that looks like and what's going to happen at the end of that.
I was just thinking along similar lines, Will, because I'm starting to wonder, a decade ago, as Adam pointed out, we were looking at kind of stagnation for certain reasons, and I'm wondering if we're about to see the same thing again, but for different reasons, right? Yeah. Where it makes more sense for all that compute to be put towards enterprise type things, because one, that's where the money is going to be, and that's where you're going to get the most application out of it. So if that's the case, every corporation has a finite number of employees that they can put on projects, and as we just talked about, how small discrete GPUs are as a priority, relatively speaking, but most likely for a company like Intel. And it's like, oh, are we getting to a point now, because a mini PC is enough for pretty much everybody who like we who are listening and talking right now serve as tech support for, like they're not going to need to push the boundaries of that. It's become basically a commodity item for them. They just, if it's a $200 mini PC they can slap on the back of a monitor and not look horribly messy, and it gets all their web browsing done and basic Word or whatever they're doing, they're going to keep that until it feels so slow that they don't want it anymore. And that's the longevity on PCs has gotten really good. Like I have laptops I'm still using from like 2014, 2016. They're not the fastest, but they get the job done for like just quick browsing. And if I'm going somewhere, I'm worried someone might try to gank my stuff. It's like, well, I lost a 10-year-old laptop. It's not as, devastating as like a brand new $2,000 laptop. And if that's the case, if people are getting by with that, there's also means there's no demand to keep pushing. So I wonder for people like us who are interested every time like a 5090 drops, is our interest going to get even more niche in some ways? Like, are we not going to get us, served? Like, it was so exciting for us when AMD's like, you want some cores? You want some threads?
We got all of them.
We got all of them. You want some more? We could just do it just cause. Why not?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Yeah. This conversation made me look up an old article I did in 2013. Why Moore's law, not mobility, is killing the PC. And Intel's basically like, Moore's law is slowing down, but we're Intel. We're going to keep it going. Tick tock, fools kind of a deal, which didn't work out. But AMD a decade ago was already talking about heterogeneous systems architecture, HSA endeavor they called it back then. That's what started the APUs. Like, hey man, let's mix a CPU and a GPU tile, call it an APU. I think as time has gone on, I think we're at the point where we can say AMD's approach is right. I think that heterogeneous design, like mix and match tiles, is clearly what the future of chip making is, as a way to kind of skirt around Moore's law. That's why we're starting to find NPUs, more powerful GPUs. They call them system on chips now, not just CPUs. And I just think it's really interesting going back and reading that article. And Intel was full of fervor and fire. And it turns out I think AMD's approach was right.
Well, and it's important to remember, too, that during that time, that 10 years ago, where consumer PC edge computing specifically was really, really stagnant, we were seeing explosive growth in data centers and mobile. Like the growth of the edge was in mobile, and the growth at the center of the was all in data centers. And like, so what happens if one of those tripods One of those three legs, like we know what happens if one of those legs of the tripod doesn't see growth. It's fine. Everything works out. It eventually gets out of the slump. What happens if two, or God forbid, three of those legs are slow at the same time? And can they survive it? And Intel is tied to two of those legs, right? Data centers, kind of, and edge compute, but not mobile. And they're having a real hard time right now when their product isn't one of the winners in two of those three tripod categories.
I do wonder if this is also a signal, and this is something that people who are far smarter than me could talk about, where as industries mature to a certain point, the technology doesn't progress really as much. Like we got to a certain point with, combustible engines, right? Internal combustible engines. We've gotten to a certain point with them where they just have kind of leveled off, right? I mean, they're still making improvements. They're trying to do things to help with, fuel efficiency, things like that. But it's not like the same dramatic increases you see as we've seen with computing. And I wonder if it's just because we had so much to improve on, going from like those gigantic mainframes to eventually getting it into the home. And then, now we can, literally have it in the palm of our hands. I think I was just wondering if it's just going to come to a point where it is just commodity things, and it's not necessarily something where you always have to be pushing the envelope, especially right now where it doesn't seem like we have applications for it, right? And I wonder if that's why they're pushing AI so hard, because they're like, hey, like this is something that we can tie into the whole reason why we're doing this, but it's not gaining the traction that they want. So it just feels like it's almost sad in a way, where it's like you don't want to lose your meaning, you don't want to lose your purpose, and so they're like looking for one.
Mm-hmm.
This is an innovator's dilemma situation too, right? This is why this is a book that they make startup people read when you're starting out, which is why small companies can challenge giant endemic companies. It was written in 1997 by Clayton Christensen. But the gist, and I'm going to sum up the whole book in like 3 sentences here.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoiler tag.
The gist is that value, like the amount of money you have to spend to innovate, is an S curve. So you spend a little bit to get a huge amount of growth early on, and then hold on, it's the other way, the S curve. Anyway, the point is you spend a little bit to get a huge amount of early innovation, and then incrementing from there is an expensive gradual process. And then you kind of cap out at the top, and you're not going to see much innovation from there. But by then, theoretically, you've grown a giant market. And that's kind of where Intel is right now, right? Like they built process technology early in the 60s. They innovated greatly on that. It was really cheap at the beginning. It got more and more expensive until we're talking about like quantum lithography and nonsense to get to 18A. And spending billions of dollars to get a new fab. Once you get to that point, you have a huge customer set, but also a high expectation of annual sales. And new entry-level products can find niches away from you, which is what Nvidia has done. I know it's a 20-year-old company, but it's same idea. Like they grew for a long time relatively inexpensively, and now they've found a niche that Intel hasn't been serving, and they're absolutely eating their lunch at this thing that suddenly became the huge hotness for a massive portion of corporate America. And they were able to grow all through those GPU years when they were selling weird cards to gamers for hardly any money. And now they're poised to just absolutely decimate the endemics. It's what Microsoft did to IBM. It's what Intel did to whoever predated Intel, probably Xerox. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it makes me think again of like, man, if in 10 years from now, coming back and listening to this episode, like who knows? It'd be like, oh, that's quaint. They're talking about this stuff. They had no idea what was coming. The time marches on. It is crazy to think just how much things have changed and where Intel's at. So,
and how cheaply you can get 10-core CPUs for now.
I know, right? Yeah. Not $1,700 and $1,723. Yeah. So, anyway, we need to go to more CPU news, chip news, because there has been some reports of Zen 6 in the wild. That Zen 6, I linked. I keep forgetting to mention it, but I've got links of all this kind of stuff in the description, including the next.content.town article.
Thank you.
This article on PCWorld about Intel not being on top. And then Zen 6, actually, this one's from Video Cards, talking about how there's rumors, Brad, plug your ears, rumors of Zen 6 processors getting into the hands of, there you go, thank you, getting into the hands of, now he distracted me. Getting out there. Yeah. Getting out to partners for validation testing, which, probably means motherboards, things like that. Here's the thing. I think we're in that same thing where, like, man, Zen 5 was great. It had a rocky launch, but now it's in a great spot. It's, in all intents purposes, it's selling really well, especially compared to Intel, where they're at right now. How excited are you for Zen 6, Will?
Look, I'm always excited about what's next from the person on top, right? winners make good stuff, right? You stick with the winners. You never go wrong.
Well, what do you want?
Nobody's ever gotten fired for buying AMD. That's what I always say.
Oh man, one day that will be true. What do you want from Zen 6? Higher core count,
more cores,
more cores.
Here's I'm going to say something really stupid, and I'm going to regret it. And you're going to put a Post-it note up on the TV.
Okay.
But I kind of hope that they do big and littles, because I wouldn't mind more cores, and they don't. Like on this 9950X 3D, it would be fine if 8 of the cores were actually 16 smaller, less capable cores, and I had 8 or 10 really dope cores, and then a bunch of other little cores for all the kind of garbo background work.
He wants an army of cores, is what he's saying.
I can never have too many cores.
Wait, I thought
put me a itsy bitsy Threadripper, and then a Vcache 9800X 3D, and just make them kiss.
Oh no!
That image
Yeah.
seared into Adam's mind right now.
Well, sorry to tell you, but yes, Zen 6 is not going to be that, unfortunately.
Boo.
Yeah. But Brad, what do you want from Zen 6? Where do you think AMD can go?
I've read these rumors, and unfortunately, what I want sounds like what they're doing, so I don't have any spicy takes to add.
Well, and
doing your homework really worked out here. I didn't read this article last night because nobody sent a link.
Yeah, it was.
I missed it.
The
dude who makes One US MUS is his Twitter handle and forum handle. He's been around forever. He makes the Hydra software. And he's basically saying there'll be double as many memory controllers, and there will be more cores in each of the clusters. The rumor is it'll go from 8 to 12. And, I would love that. Let's make 6 cores the new entry-level thing. Let's make 12 cores the new single CCD thing. There's supposed to be more cache on these, according to... I consider this to be a very credible source. Like, he actually makes the support software. All of a sudden, we're seeing AIDA64, all these other things popping up with Zen 6 support. So I consider this a very credible source. I would like to see higher clocks. I saw rumors out there that it might hit 7 gigahertz. That'd be swell. More cores going faster would be awesome. But that one's from Moore's Law is Dead, so I consider him not as a reliable of a source. So I would take that with a bunch of salt. But if they actually manage to pull off 7 gigahertz, 4 more cores per CCD, and throw some more extra cache on top of it, like, that feels pretty successful to me.
I thought we just said we have too much power in the palm of our hands. That an i5 is
I didn't
enough.
say that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say
Elena
it.
said that.
I
Elena
didn't
said that.
say it
That was 100%
specifically.
Elena.
I didn't say it
That
specifically
Elena
like
right
that.
there.
Yeah, I mean, that would be crazy. So, because right now the lowest end of the stack for socketable desktop CPUs is 6 cores, right? You got a single CCD with 6 cores. So elevating that to a higher core count would be nice. It brings up all boats.
I also wish, I hope that they are looking at increasing perf on the Infinity Fabric, the connecting goo between the different CCDs. Because I feel like it hasn't come into play. Like they dodged a bullet with Intel's launch last year, right? Because the Foveros stuff didn't come into play because the cores had problems and like the performance just wasn't there. When Intel works that out, the lower speed of the Infinity Fabric is going to be a binding agent for their perf, and it'll like better to figure that out in advance before it's a problem than after.
Well, this rumor says 2 memory controllers, and I'm hope that ties into that in some way. That's my hope for it, because I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess I haven't read as much as Brad, but what about power efficiency? Because I feel like that's where a lot of the swing was recently. Of like, oh, you know what, we're going to give you a little more performance, but we're going to be way more power efficient about it. What do you expect from the new stuff?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because Intel is on such ropes. Like, I would hope AMD would just keep the pedal to the metal, right? And figure out, like, the optimal punch to efficiency ratio. But if Intel is struggling a bit, like, I'm not sure how hard they're going to put the gas and save the gas for the next go round.
I kind of like this generation's been really nice because if you can say, hey, if battery life is the thing that's most important to you, Lunar Lake is really awesome, right? If you want a computer that has a little bit more horsepower and maybe a little bit worse battery life, but still really exceptional battery life, the Ryzen AI stuff has been great. And then if you want something that's going to run like the 4 applications that your corporate IT people want to run, then there's Snapdragon Elite, whatever that thing's called. And it makes it really clear and simple and straightforward. So I don't know. Like, I feel like I like their spot as, hey, we're the perf people right now.
Yeah.
Well, and we know, or at least we don't know, the rumors are that something that I've expected for a while now, that Intel's desktop release this year is going to be an Arrow Lake refresh. So essentially, hey, you remember Arrow Lake? We're going to refresh that.
That's the rumor.
So,
but with an NPU. But with an NPU.
Oh, finally. Yes.
I hope they clock the memory controller up really high and like just release all boundaries on the voltage controller so that it's never gone wrong for them before. And they've really gotten some great performance out of it. 4900K, still the perf leader, baby.
Yeah, bigger voltage, better is what we always say around here.
That's what I always say.
So, yeah, like I guess it's like, man, how hard does AMD really need to hit at this point? Because like an Arrow Lake refresh is probably gonna not do amazingly out of the gate. And also we suspect that this is the end of the line for the LGA 1851 socket as well. So
look, they're not going to do Arrow Lake refresh if they can at least beat the 9800X3D and the 9950X and X3D, right? Like there's no reason to roll that out for a annualized beating if you don't have to.
There is NPUs. They're going to replace those NPUs with the same ones in Lunar Lake is the
also
so
shareholders
it'll be the first desktop AI PCs.
I mean, well, not technically there have been socketable AMD ones.
All the feelings today.
Yeah. But
that's a face.
We already talked about this. It's bad. Don't do that.
And also, they need to release something.
But I'm not. Intel marketing would think being the first mainstream broad AI Copilot Plus PCs would be great. I would think.
I'm sure it'll be faster. Yeah. But yeah, and yeah, I mean, they're gonna release something. It's not like Intel's gonna be like, we're gonna take a year off. Like shareholders will be like, wait, what? You literally have nothing. So. No, they will definitely release something.
Look, they could just say pass. It's like board game rules. You just nope. I pass this turn. You're up next.
Because
totally.
I mean, I also feel like in some ways that I wouldn't go as far as say as that's obviously signed a partnership with Microsoft, but it makes you wonder how much they talk to each other. You know what I mean? Because it's like if they can get that into desktops, then that spreads it. I mean, I don't know how many laptops versus desktops there are on the corporate side of things, but I mean, I imagine that you're not necessarily equipping everybody with a laptop if they're just chained to a desk all day. So that could also get a lot more spread of your favorite feature. Well,
I don't see the OEMs lining back up again for Copilot Plus PCs round 2 after the first ones didn't light the world on fire and they did all that marketing behind them.
Ooh, I have numbers. I didn't share them earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
This is from Mark, who talked to IDC. In 2024, Windows PCs with 40 plus tops, which is what you need to be Copilot Plus, was 0.5% of the total PC market and 0.6% of Windows PCs for 1.3 million in total. In the first quarter of 2025, that's nudged upwards because, there's more of them now. And it's up to 1.9% of the entire PC market and 2.3% of all Windows PCs sold. So that's 1.2 more. So they have sold 2.5 million by IDC estimates over the past year.
It's a ringing endorsement.
I mean, yeah.
That's less than the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
It is.
There we go.
It's like half.
Maybe this is why people are so excited about mini PCs right now.
Well, but this also doesn't include the first push of AI PC with Meteor Lake, right? Because that, yeah.
It's 'cause it's not an AI PC.
I know. Well, they, but you know, they've been at this for a couple years, but really these numbers don't reflect that either. I mean, not that I'm saying Meteor Lake probably, you know, sold a ton either. But yeah.
I mean, it will be interesting to see because I feel like on the laptop side, OEMs have more choices for what they can put in there and, you know, put into the consumer's hands. But I think with desktop chips, after a certain point, it's been a little weird, honestly, with Intel lately. But eventually, the older chips just aren't available. So what you get is what you get.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Look, all I'm going to say,
Will.
Brian V asks a question in the chat. Friend of the show, Brian V says, isn't Nvidia pushing out an Apple Silicon equivalent desktop CPU the bigger threat to AMD than Intel? And two things. One, like neither AMD nor Intel are a threat to Nvidia right now in any way, shape, or form. Maybe Apple is, but probably not. And I'm going to quote Angelina Jolie from the seminal 1995 work Hackers when I say the RISC architecture is going to change everything. So yes, you are correct.
Oh
Risk.
yeah, I remember.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah,
RISC-V, baby.
Yeah, Gordon and Ian did a really good video about it, Computex 2019, talking about how it's right around the corner. RISC-V is right around the corner. It's going to change everything. Right around the corner, just like Linux. It's the year of Linux, or maybe next year. Who knows?
2025, it's happening for Linux. Maybe next year, RISC is really going to change everything.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Either way, Intel, you know, needs some wins somewhere, and if Microsoft's, who knows? Maybe Microsoft is able to give them incentive to say, hey, we got to get more Copilot Plus PCs, and Intel's like, well, we can do that. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. I've got an NPU.
Does Intel have marketing money to throw? Like, is Microsoft going to throw more money at that? Or, I mean, they probably have leftovers given the other stuff they've been doing. So
no clue. No clue. Who knows?
I am more going back to AMD, the star of this part of the show. I am curious as the company that's seemingly more in the dominant role right now, at least in terms of public perception.
Top 10 semiconductor company.
At least in terms of public perception. If that also means that we're going to start seeing changes to pricing, right? So that was the thing that we saw when the roles were reversed. Intel didn't budge much on pricing. They usually came out a little bit higher. And AMD's been, I mean, decent about it. But they have been notching up steadily over time. So I'm wondering if they start increasing core count as your, you know, baseline for like your entry-level chips and your mid-range chips, if we're going to see a corresponding price increase, and it's not just like hey, technology got cheaper, so we're just going to give you more for the same price.
Well, not just that.
We got used to that.
Very true. Yeah, and also on the other end, like I feel like AMD chips have been more readily available for longer, right? I mean, you can still get really good deals on Ryzen 7000. AM4 chips are still coming out, you know, so the options
That's
of like
soon,
budget,
probably though, with DDR4.
But like they're serving all ends of the budget. So you're right, they might be able to say, come out and be like, well, you know what, we got the best thing, we got the high end, but also
brand new, so pay more for
but
it
we still have
Ryzen
7000. It's still good stuff,
Ryzen
you know,
9000,
and it's still cheap.
Ryzen 9000 was like Brad said earlier in the show, it was crazy on sale during Prime Day. So I mean, AMD so far doesn't seem like they're thinking like, we're in the top spot and we're cushy with it. They do seem like they still have a little bit of that kind of fire in them, where it's like, well, we remember the lean times. We're going to make sure that we still are pushing to make sure that when Adam goes and interviews people at another Micro Center opening, that people are like, what do you got in your rig? And everyone's just like, oh, AMD. Like, honestly, that was the most interesting part for me, watching the interviews afterwards, because we've gotten so used to hearing people say Intel. And like the fact that it's changed in like even just a handful of years is pretty dramatic.
That's because they're really good CPUs. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this has happened. Like having done this for a long time now, this is like a 5-year. It takes 5 years for that to change, right? Like when the first Athlon rolled out at 1 gigahertz, that was a real turning point, and that like a bunch of nerds moved over to Athlon at that point. Even those machines were really, frankly, terrifying to build. The switch back happened over time. It took until Nehalem and really a couple of generations even past that for it to come back over. And then AMD had a dark phenom half decade. And once Zen 3 hit, Ryzen 3 hit, things started looking up for them again. So,
yeah, good stuff. We will see. I mean, we're coming up on fall time frame-ish. Usually CPU stuff. Well, I guess typically in the past number of years, we've seen at least a tease at Computex. We didn't see a tease at Computex this year, so they might be launching a little bit later than the normal.
It's been a quieter year. I think,
right,
I mean, honestly, I think with the whole U.S. fiscal policy stuff, it's just been very distracting for a lot of companies because now you have to devote a lot of resources to figuring out, things that you could kind of just set and forget or not have to worry about so much from like day to day even.
Yeah. So I do wonder when they try to launch it. Brad, when do you need to get out of here?
Nowish would be good.
All right.
I can answer a question or two if there's any with my name on them.
Yeah, let's move over to Q&A. We'll get a couple more in here before Brad needs to get out. If you have a question, get them in the chat right now at the Full Nerd Podcast. It's the easiest way for us to see it. If you're watching or listening to this later, just go to the link in the description to go over to our Discord. Hang out with all the lovely people over there, and there is a channel that you can put questions into at any time of the day. It's not closed. It's open for business 24/7. You can put a question in there, and hopefully we will come read it on this here show. Let me get to the very first question, which is an interesting one that I want to hear. I want to hear Brad's take on this.
Hopefully, I have one.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give a little bit of context real quick. So we, what was it, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I pushed live a video that I did with Mike D'Insiglio, my buddy who was in town. We recorded a bunch and we're going to kind of dole them out. This one was about people's options for Windows who are on Windows 10 currently. And we literally just went through and said, okay, here's option 1, 2, A, B, C, D, just kind of options. And one of them was actually sprung on to us by... I don't remember who initially said it, but they were like, hey, there's this Surface... or there's this company, something Zero, I can't remember, where they take Windows 11 patches and configure them to work on Windows 10. Once again, I don't remember the names in it.
We've covered it. I forget the name, but we've covered it on PC.
Yeah, and so that was one of the questions I asked Mikey, and Mike, he looked to the camera. Friend of the show, Ivan R, made a really good GIF here. Yeah, it's a GIF. Thank you. Saying hard no, specifically because compatibility, right? They might not have not have full compatibility. Also, you're putting your faith into a company to go into security updates and change the code to run on Windows 10. So for him, it makes sense that he would give a hard no. So now I'm going to get into the question from Ivan R. It's a really good video. I think informative. We tried to aim it for beginner users. Like I really was thinking of my grandma in mind when I was talking to the camera. But I think there's plenty of stuff for power users to get out there. And also, guess what? All the comments are like, use Linux. So
gosh, I couldn't imagine that.
Can't imagine. Yeah.
Look, we invited this on ourselves.
I know we did. Will. We're just kicking ourselves.
I said, hey, why don't you ask people if anybody here uses Linux at Micro Center? And now look what's happened. We have a Linux channel.
Yeah. So friend of the show, Ivan R. Not yet. Ivan R. says in option 2D of the Windows 10 end of life video, Mike said hard no to third parties making patches, including security for Windows 10. So would patches or modifications to Linux be a yes? In other words, do we trust changes that Pop! OS or Bazite make to the Linux core? Which I have texted Mikey because this came in this morning. He has
an
texted back.
answer.
So I have not read the answer. He said, quote, "It's a good question. I can pop in an answer after class if you send me a link, but basically Linux is a whole different mindset. A core Linux premise is that the community develops and maintains the software. So not only do I see nothing wrong with third-party mods or patches to Linux, I would expect them. And if I trust Linux, I trust the community, so I trust those mods and patches," end quote. Where I think, for Windows patches, and who knows, maybe the companies are legit, but it's something you would have to know going into it. It's like, hey, this is a third party taking an official Windows patch that was not meant to be backported to Windows 10. So I want to hear what everyone else thinks of this service and if they would use it. So Brad, you first, since you might need to leave.
Yeah, I'll leave after I answer. I would never sign up for that service, even though we've highlighted it on PCWorld before. If for whatever reason you absolutely are going, you need this program that just won't work on Windows 11 and you can't hire a programmer to do that work to port it over for you, and you have to stick with Windows 10 and you can't get in on the business extended support options that Microsoft offers, that might be your only option. You'd be in a really hard place. That would be so incredibly niche, and that is no place I would ever want to be. I would not want a third-party service intercepting, redoing the security patches, and send them straight through to my OS. I wouldn't like that. That being said, you got to get off of Windows 10, guys. I agree. I like Windows 10 better than Windows 11. Windows 11 these days is fine. You really don't want to be stuck on an insecure operating system that doesn't get security patches. If you don't like Windows 11, don't do this weird stuff so you can try to Frankenstein together continuing using Windows 10. Go download Linux. Go download Pop OS, which is awesome. Go download whatever they call Chrome OS now, the way you can download it. Just get off of Windows 10. It sucks. I hate it too, but...
And to clarify, friend of the show, Greg M. in the chat says that Zero Patch is the name. And they say it's been around for years, patching Windows 7 systems with microcode patches. So,
yes, absolutely true. It's not a fly-by-night service. It's a service that has been around since I think it was even before then, before the Windows 7 transition. So that's part of the reason why our colleagues in PC Welt Germany highlighted it, and we ran with it. So it's not a fly-by-night thing, but I still would not want to be doing that. If you're listening to this, download something else. Download something secure. Don't use an insecure operating system that's being peddled patches by somebody who didn't create the operating system.
Well, here's a question: which is better? Say somebody says that, hey, you know what? I'm not going to pay for the extra year support. I'm just gonna use it. I'm just gonna write it. Would it be better to be like, okay, well, you know what? At least this is better than that, because you don't want to just ride Windows 10 without anything.
I would say if you're limiting yourself to those two options, you're setting yourself up for failure. So I don't think either is better.
Do you want to shoot your foot off with a shotgun or RPG?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
My kid was making fun of me on 4th of July because it's like, Dad, you never throw the big fireworks. I'm like, no. I don't want to blow my hand off. I mean, if they want to do it, I'll watch them do it and laugh about it. It's the same kind of thing here.
Funny story, Brett. I actually have a relative who literally did blow their hand off with fireworks. So if you want, I can talk to your kid.
Oh, no.
Wow. Oh, no.
Wait, this is what was that Adam Sandler movie? Where he had
Oh, no, that's Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore
got the golf ball out of the alligator's mouth. It's a little different.
No. Where he had a family friend who would always come over and scare the kids to be like, oh, I had this thing happen to me, and it turns out that it didn't actually have their hand. What am I thinking of? It's a movie. I thought it was an Adam Sandler.
We'll wait for chat.
Yeah, please help me out here. There's a movie where a family friend came over, and was always trying to scare the kids to be like, so that's why you don't. Something.
That's Auntie Elena at it again.
Big Daddy, maybe?
I can't remember.
But I got to go. So.
All right.
See you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. See you later.
Right,
good luck. Okay, Will, what do you think? Would you ever recommend this, that somebody uses this? No,
Mikey's smarter than me,
no?
so I'm going to say what he said. And, but I mean, the question about Linux is legit and valid, right? This is This came up last year with the XeUtils exploit that happened to Linux. I think we did a tech pod. Either we did a tech pod episode about it, or we planned one, and then it kept getting pushed long enough that it was no longer newsworthy, and so we dumped it. But it was a supply chain compromise where the attacker worked for years to build credibility, making good contributions to the code base for this underlying core piece of Linux functionality, XeUtils, which is in like SSH and a bunch of other things all the way through the tool chain.
Wow.
And then after they built that credibility, they were given maintainer status on this really core piece of functionality. And then they started doing some really kind of shady stuff.
Wow.
And eventually
Long
somebody
game.
was like,
yeah.
oh, hey, which like, that's crazy if it's just some kid like who just wants to be a problem. But if it's a state-sponsored actor, it's really easy for them to pay somebody for 3 or 4 years to just get, hey, go be a contributor and get useful. And then, we're going to have you burn this identity after like 2 or 3 years. That's relatively inexpensive for them to get like 0-day exploits on a bazillion machines around the world. Now, somebody caught this before it got out widely distributed, so it ended up not being that big a deal, which is the thing Mikey talks about, right? Like it's the strength of Linux, which is that when somebody at Microsoft, I think, a Postgres SQL engineer noticed something weird happening on a pre-release version of the software, they were like, hey, what's going on? And then they went back and dug through the source, and they were like, nothing in the source indicates that this would be an issue. And then that triggered a whole investigation that ended up backtracking into the whole thing. Yeah, so like, yes, Linux is less secure in that people can submit bad code. The bad code is usually caught as part of the review process. When it's not, the bad code was caught because somebody was a nerd, and as I think Brian V says, a nerd was wondering why his SSH was taking too long to run. I linked to the Hacker News article in the chat.
That's crazy.
About it.
Yeah. And a friend of the show, Schmitty, says, what caught it? Testing. Always be testing.
Yeah, always be testing. So
also,
we always say.
Thank you, chat, Davina and Rain Z, Arrested Development. That's always why you,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. That's what that joke was from.
There's always money in the banana stand, Adam. That's all I know.
Yeah, in the banana stand. Yeah. So, yeah. And so the zero patch thing, you don't have that same kind of thing, right? Where...
No, there's no source code.
Yeah, and there's nobody like going back and like able to kind of test it. You're just applying it or not.
You just assume they're smart.
Yeah.
Like I assume Mikey's smart, and if he tells me to do something, I do it. But like if I was running a Fortune 500 company, I wouldn't just take Mikey's word for it.
Also, I'm not saying that this zero patch is something like that is just hands down you shouldn't trust, because it sounds like they have been doing stuff. But
well,
I mean, somebody who works there can be a bad actor. Like it happens everywhere.
Not even just that. So like I'm gonna just kind of cut in now, Will. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
It's that even as I said earlier in the show, even if you have the best intentions, there is pretty much very few things out there. There are very few things out there that have no accidental bugs or vulnerabilities in them, right? So now you've had someone take something that already could have something in it, and then they've, as you said, backported or ported it over to something else. And it's like, well, maybe they have great intentions, but did they accidentally open up a vulnerability while in that process of trying to make it compatible with something that wasn't designed for, right? Because at a certain point, I mean, Windows 10 and Windows 11 largely share similar code bases at the start, right? But I mean, as Windows 11 is progressing and as Windows 10 gets further and further behind in terms of abandonment, how much is it going to change, right? So you don't know that, it works one way in this system, but it works a little differently in this system. If you try to change it, is it going to create a problem, right? So for me, that's one of the things that I would point out for a reason why I wouldn't do it. And I mean, everyone listening to the show or watching the show knows that there's a huge culture difference, right, between Linux, that it is meant to be open source, meant to be checked over by the community. Everybody also is they're pretty much everyone right now still who use Linux are super nerds. So they're looking to dig through the code. They find it enjoyable to do this, right? So you also have people who are kind of combing through it with a fine eye to begin with. So who's using it and who's monitoring it and maintaining it are just very different crowds. What I would say, I think one of the things that we didn't talk about already is that security patches are getting extended, because I know when you filmed with Mikey, that was before they came out with that announcement. And so,
well, for the if you pay for one of the backup service or whatever, right? Like you get it for free.
Yeah, so they basically made it quote unquote free. So before they had said already that you could pay $30 for the year and it would extend it. So I mean, hands down, $30 for most people, I want to say, is affordable enough, given the other things, the discretionary things that we buy.
And definitely worth it.
And worth it.
Yeah, rather than running unpatched.
Yeah. Running unpatched operating system, just nobody's idea of a good time. I mean, maybe
somebody's idea.
Maybe not nobody, but overwhelming majority, most people, not a good idea. Not a good time. But now that Microsoft has opened up these other venues, other means to extend it for free, quote unquote, right? Which is one, like you agree to back up your stuff to Microsoft 365, so they get you hooked on it, and so you sign up for their AI enhanced services, right? Or, and this is the one I'm going to be recommending to people, you don't want to pay. Yeah, we all dunk on Bing, but Microsoft reward points are pretty easy to accumulate, and I believe the cost is only $1,000, or sorry, $1,000, 1,000 points, 1,000 points,
bargain,
of points.
Great deal.
Sorry,
Elena's gold-plated deal of the week.
confused my currencies. I confused my currencies in my head for a moment. So 1,000 points. It's not too hard between, especially now in October,
I've got
to gather. And I think a lot of people, just because if you never turned off Bing in Windows search, you've been doing Bing searches already.
I got a lot from using Xbox too.
Yeah, that too. So most people probably, especially if you log into your system with a Microsoft account, which most people do now, and you probably have the points already. So it should really cost you nothing. Outside of maybe going, Bing, that to upgrade, not upgrade, but to extend those security updates so that, for a lot of us, either we have our preferences because we still think that Windows 10 is better for gaming, or we just like how it does certain things better. It's not burying things in like too deep for context menus, like stuff like nonsense, things like that. Then you can buy yourself a year to emotionally come to terms with the fact that you're going to have to give it up.
I think that's the hard part, is that for me, and we talked about this in the video, I think it was a pretty good video, and I think we covered all the bases except for Linux. People didn't think we covered Linux enough. No matter what, you're delaying the inevitable. At some point, you're going to have to make that hard decision. So how soon or later do you want to do it?
Yep.
And I get it. Maybe you can't do it this year. So maybe you do need, some time, but no matter what, like, you're going to have to make the decision.
Yeah.
So.
And somebody in chat, I think it was Greg M, talking about, I think from a work perspective, they have a client that is going to do the security extension because they can't afford to upgrade hardware across their business.
Yeah.
Their small business to be compatible with Windows 11. And so my guess is that buys them a year to, budget for it, or at least like start figuring out how to make that changeover in a more secure way. Or
they could just go Linux.
Yeah. Or coming to terms with, which system. But that's the thing too, right? Like if you run a small business, in some ways, running your household is a tiny bit like running your own tiny small business, right? You have money coming in, expenses going out, all that kind of stuff. And deciding, okay, like, what are the things, can I upgrade my parents to Linux, or can I, upgrade these laptops to Linux instead so I can get more life out of this laptop? Or do I have this one app that has to be on Windows, and so I have to make this one particular upgrade, and so on and so forth, whether it's for ourselves, our family, people who ask us for advice. Like, I think those are the big questions that people are going to still be grappling with for the next year. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see how far Microsoft is willing to kick this can down the road, just because none of us thought that they were going to make a move in this direction. We thought they maybe could consider it, and then just kind of like, surprise, we're going to do it, sort of.
Yeah. I don't think they anticipated the U.S. tariff situation blowing up the price of everything electronic for 2025, probably.
And they just can't turn. They just, they're like, we'll give you some. Well, you can buy a year with Bing points. Come on. Like that's the closest.
Yeah.
That's the best we'll do. Best offer.
There's a world where there were a bunch of really good laptop deals this summer that they started pushing to people on Windows 10 machines, and like somebody wisely decided that given the current climate, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to try to upsell a billion people on new laptops. I went and looked at the Microsoft Rewards points page. Right now, you can get 500 points for downloading the Bing app on your phone, which you can download, sign in with, and then delete. And another 500 points for signing in to Outlook for Windows desktop on your PC. So you can cover your 1,000 points
in 2 steps. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Can I get that in cash, please?
yeah.
Sorry.
Here's 35 cents, Willis.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
What's the cash exchange for that? Yeah. I mean, the other thing too for users, people that we talk to, family members, friends, things like that. Like if I were to go to my grandma and be like, "Hey, grandma, you should try Linux." She loves me and she trusts me, but I think even she would be like, nah, I can't do that.
It really depends.
But my grandma, I'm thinking about my grandma,
for your grandma
specifically.
I can't speak for your grandma, obviously, but I think it really
and like
does.
my mom and my dad too, I
really
probably
depends.
would not. Yeah.
It really depends, because if you can get them on a browser that looks like, if you use like, if they're already, if you're like me and you basically try to get all your relatives on Firefox early, then if they still have Firefox, they're like, oh, I know this. They're like, oh, where did this thing go? And you say, oh, it's right here now. They're like, oh, okay. And you like leave them a Post-it, or you just text them a message, or you send them an email they can reference. And it's not horrible. I have friends who've done it with their parents.
Well, I mean, and for her specifically, she's already paying for a Microsoft 365 subscription because she loves.
That's different. That's different.
Well, but until I started using this and was like, man, what are my options for Excel? Like the standalone Excel app on here is actually, or the web whatever I was like, oh wow, you can actually do Excel through a browser. It's not as full featured, sure, as the desktop app, but
it really isn't.
Well,
yeah, I know, but for
better.
her, I think it probably would have been enough. I don't know. My
grandma was real good at math, so she would not have settled for the web version of Excel.
Respect to your grandma.
Someone did say in the chat that they got their dad to move to Linux. So
was it conscious, or was it just surreptitiously?
I know,
done?
yeah. Friend of the show, Data says, you just don't tell her. You just swap it to Mint, and it'll be close enough. I don't.
This is Windows 13. It's the new one. Don't worry about it.
Well, so yeah, because I even pre-configured for my grandma specifically. I even pre-configured the mini PC to like put the taskbar on the, or not the taskbar, all the icons on the left.
Yeah, did you have to like install like Start 10 or whatever?
I didn't, because she does only use things like very briefly, but she does everything through Chrome too. So I was like, man, yeah, I think I could have gotten away with Chrome OS, but I feel like Linux. Yeah, I don't know.
So the thing that annoys me about this rewards point thing, even though it's easy, is that when I go to figure out how much, Willis wanted to know how much the reward points were worth, so I did the math.
Thanks, Will.
A $10 Xbox gift card, which I assume is probably the best return you get since it's Microsoft to Microsoft, is 10,000 points. So that means 1,000 points for $1. So that means basically,
of your time.
Why would they not? Why can I not just pay them $1 and get the thing? No, we have to juice some bar someplace so that the line goes up and the bar goes up and to the right for whatever BS Microsoft wants to push this year. And like, it's just, this just sucks. Hi, hello.
Don't look a gift upgrade extension in the mouth.
True.
Look, when you have to play Candy Crush for 300 hours to get enough, enough Microsoft points.
Now I'm in.
To get
you literally just found a way of doing it in like 10 minutes. So
but this is going to go away. This is just on right now. In October, it's going to be spend 3,000 hours watching MSN News in order to get
That's okay. PCWorld's on that. Remember?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
back in.
You'll get featured, Will.
Yeah.
Win-win.
We'll be like, hey, that's me.
I'm Fames.
Yeah.
There was a time I didn't know what to do with all those Microsoft points, and so I ended up using it to for those like was it like the not giveaways, the entry giveaways.
Oh, entry into
Oh yeah,
giveaways.
the raffle.
Yeah,
thing.
raffle time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never won.
I was thinking about getting a 1-month subscription to the Microsoft Solitaire Collection Premium Edition, which is only 1,500 points. No ads, double coins for daily challenge, a
I
boost.
just want Windows 7 and Windows XP Solitaire to come back. That and ski free.
You can just download it. It's on the internet. I just get it.
When I looked into it,
It's on
seemed like
Mega.
It seemed like there actually you had to do some like work to get it to work on Windows 10.
You know, sometimes
I'm not you,
sometimes-
Will. I am lazy.
Sometimes you got to just do the work to get the reward, you know?
I'm lazy, Will.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. Well, go watch that video. I think it was a good one. Share it with friends, family. You know, make sure they know their options because it is coming up. We got a question from somebody I've never seen before. Psychosomatic, I think, but it's
Hello.
intercapped. You know, like the cool kids do it. Was recently listening to the recent Xbox combo. What if they made an Xbox mode, whereas I think they're talking about a discrete piece of hardware that goes under the TV? What if they made an Xbox mode, whereas it logs into a special virtual PC with a built-in hypervisor that would test people's configuration to ensure a smooth playing experience, and that it would be an answer to the Xbox hardware question going forward? That's
Sounds complicated.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure they'd absolutely nail that.
Yeah,
It would work
nailed
great
it
right from the get-go.
What was that? And it reminded me, when I read this question, it reminded me of that thing. I think it was either Windows 7 or 8. One of those Windows OSs like would try to gauge the hardware in your system and give you a score to know, like it was a
they still
game
do that.
score. Do they still do
Don't
that?
they still do that? Yeah. Doesn't
I don't
hold
think
on,
they do
I'm
that
looking.
anymore. What? Maybe it was Vista. Do you remember this?
Yeah,
Where they would
Vista
give you
did
like
that.
a game score and be like, oh yeah, based
It
off
was
of
1
the
to
hardware.
5.
Based off the hardware configuration, you're going to be good at it. It made me think of that like, oh yeah, that's how good it's going to be at like scanning something and being like, oh yeah, you can run your hypervisor, like this, and all of a sudden it just doesn't play well.
I would give them more credit than that, but I just think with the amount of complexity that would go into it, that would actually take probably decent amount of resources to do well.
Yeah.
When they rolled that out, I asked, because I was like, what's the highest score you can have? And they were like 5. And I said, well, what happens when new hardware comes out? And they said, what do you mean? And I said, oh, this is going to go great. Thanks.
They're like, what new hardware? What are you talking about?
There's
Yeah,
no
when,
such
when
thing
you
as
roll
new
out a new
hardware.
version of DirectX, you're going to change the score. We're
fine.
not talking about new hardware.
Also, Mikey is in the chat. He said that we don't talk about the V word. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it.
You know what
Mikey.
though?
What's
I
What's
mean,
the
if
V word?
we're gonna rank Windows versions, Vista would not be at the
You
bottom
don't say
for
that.
me.
You don't say that word.
Don't
I already
say
said it.
wait, what?
Beep.
Words have
What would be at
power.
the bottom for you? Windows ME?
Yes.
That doesn't count. It's not a real version.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
wasn't that in Mark's thing when we came on and argued with Mark?
Oh my God. Yeah, we did this with Mark. I can't do this again. I'm having flashbacks.
I still have the
I'm
slide.
I'm just telling you, Will, like the amount
you
of
do?
times that
Yeah,
I
you wanna
had
pull it
to install and
Slack it
reinstall
to me.
and troubleshoot that on my parents' computer. Ugh, like that thing.
Look, I was selling computers to people with like little pull tabs at the University of Tennessee when Windows ME came out. Call this
How do
number.
you sleep at night?
I didn't. No, they'd always be like, "Hey, I want whatever the new one is." I was like, "Okay, let's talk about this for a second because the new one's complicated. You want the good one or the new one?" And they're like, "Which one should I get?" And I was like, "Usually they would. If I didn't like them, I'd say ME, and if I did, then I'd say 98 or sometimes 2000 if they seemed like nerds."
2000 is still my,
Yeah, goat.
yeah, 100%. Speaking of, we should have a software category for hardware Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah.
Hall of Fame.
Hold on a sec. Wait.
So according to our debate that we had when Mark came on the show, we placed out of 14 spots,
You know what?
Windows ME came
I
in 13.
agree with a lot of this.
So
I
bring it
am
up.
surprised though that you didn't distinguish between Windows 98 and Windows 98 SE. Because SE was a massive improvement.
Yeah, there was a lot of we talked a lot. There was a lot of segmentation of like, well, you can't because I remember Windows 3 and 3.
Well, no, because you
3.1.
have XP, Service Pack, pre-Service Pack 2, and post-Service Pack 2. So I think that like
we probably talked about it, but didn't think it was.
I largely agree with that. Though.
I feel like Mark was like, I'm not coming on the podcast anymore after we worked him over on this one for a while.
Sorry, Mark.
You know what, Mark? If those are your votes, I back you fully.
All right, a couple more questions, and we need to get out of here because I am ready to eat. Ivan R, friend of the show, Ivan R asks, which end do you peel a banana from? The one with the stem or the one with
I'll be right back
at the end?
This is a trick question.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
What about that potato butt? Also, Will I can't tell if he left because he doesn't like this question or because he has
He's getting a banana. It's obvious.
Okay. Well, but I thought the actual answer is you pinch the end, right? Isn't that what
you're not
what
supposed
primates do?
So they say that you're not like a lot of us for whatever reason are taught or we watch and we go from the stem part, but you're supposed to go from the other end, pinch it, and then
See, that's how you do. Yeah, you grab the stem.
No, Will is demonstrating.
This is the way monkeys do it.
Yeah, Will is demonstrating.
We are the bad, stupid primates, and you get the seed bit out, so you don't have that in there.
I mean, I never
and you can eat it if you want. Oh, this is bad.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Oh, no.
This is a little overdone.
This is like the worst version of
put that banana away.
Of education.
I'm not eating a banana on camera. No reason.
Please don't. Okay. Well, now you know. What about from the center? Can't you just rip that thing open?
I mean,
so the other day, I knew I was opening it from the less ideal end, and I needed to use a little extra force, and I just ripped the banana in two. I was like, oh, well, it's available now.
Oh, you got guns. Yeah. So
it's available now.
Yeah, there you go. There's your answer.
Wow, that's Hulk smashed a banana. I've never heard of that before, Elena.
All right,
I actually have it's so funny because a lot of people stereotype because I guess of my stature, they believe that I would have a delicate touch with things, and no, I am the reason why of Mice and Men is so traumatizing.
All right,
Lenny gets to pet the bunnies, right?
Last question, very pertinent from friend of the show, Boria Zero. Question about the fireworks accident. Was Elena's relative the one who invented gunpowder?
Wow.
Do you think that I'm that old?
Wow.
I mean, my people invented gunpowder.
Also, story time.
I wasn't there for it.
Also, my cousin who lives in Australia was visiting Poland, went to his friend's wedding. There were fireworks. One of them, rather than going up vertically, went sideways. It hit the band member in the chest, causing cardiac arrest. Unfortunately, the man died. Wow. Okay.
Whoa. Why is this show suddenly so?
Yeah. Thanks, Boria Zero. Dang. I
overly real.
Did not imagine that question would go there. So, yeah.
I have a cousin who got shot in the butt with a firework and had to go to the hospital.
Wait. So if we're talking about fireworks and danger, so I was listening to the radio and they were doing the whole pre 4th of July, please don't blow your hands off. We get too many calls on this day. Please stop traumatizing all of your emergency workers in your area talk. And they were telling us, you remember the sparklers we would hold as kids?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are apparently incredibly dangerous because they get to 1,200 degrees.
2,200.
2,200.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And then
look at all this.
Apparently all the parents in the 70s and the 80s were just like, here, isn't it cute? And I remember as a child being like, that does not look safe. I will refrain. And I got made fun of by my whole family, my extended family. And now I can say with utter satisfaction, I was right.
What's the worst that could happen, Elena? What's the worst that could happen?
I used to stand on the back of the boat like Nick Cage at the end of The Rock with Roman candles in both hands as we were going about 30 miles an hour, firing them off
Things
at
are
night
different
in the dark.
Tennessee.
Yeah, the 80s were wild, man.
Wow. Oh, my. Wow. Okay, last question is going to be a serious one to get over the
trauma.
Boria Zero. A friend of the show, Pedro Acura, asks, RAM at 5,600 mega transfers per second versus 6,000 mega transfers per second. How much performance is lost?
Hold on.
In what?
I do not know that off
This
the top
is
of my head.
Also, it's
You
probably
give me a math question.
it's probably
what
so.
The heck?
I mean, 400. The answer is 400. The answer is 400.
Yeah,
400 mega transfers is what's lost. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, if you're talking about gaming,
Math word problem.
yeah, if you're talking about gaming, like, yeah, so he is asking in reference to gaming, like, what, I don't know. We haven't done this testing. There are testing on YouTube. I've seen it.
How wide's the memory bus?
From DDR5? I have no idea. What, you're actually going to try to math this?
No. Like, so here's the thing: UE4 games are notorious for being system memory bound.
Okay,
right? Because they optimized a lot of that for the consoles, which have these wide pipelines, wider than we're expecting memory pipelines between the CPU and GPU, and because it's all shared RAM, and as a result, UE4, you put it faster memory in it. That's why I put that stupid fast memory in my machine when we built it in 2022, the one that ended up burning the house down, causing a lot of other problems, is because it made PUBG really fast, real fast. It was really good until less so.
Until it
burnt up in the sun.
Yeah, but that's relatively easy to test. The thing is, the cost difference between cheap memory and fast memory and not fast memory is pretty low these days until you get to like extreme levels. So like just go as high as you can at the price that you're at the capacity you want.
Well, I think the question I would have, once again, because I have not done the testing and I'm curious now, is would you rather go with slower timings but tighter or faster? Like would you rather get a 5600 at CL26 or 28, whatever, or a 6000 at CL32, right?
I'd have to test that.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know, like, okay, which is better in that situation, timings or raw speed. Also, Datus mentions for APUs it makes a big difference, especially for like handhelds. I don't know what Pedro Core is gaming on, but you can definitely make a big difference in terms of
it's really situational. It's very situational.
So DDR5 is 64-bit per channel, so it's 128 bits times 400 million mega transfers. So yeah, so you're losing that.
Also, they say they're on a 7800 X3D with a 7900 XT. Yeah. I mean, unless you playing a lot of Unreal, like what were you seeing, like, oh, I got 120 and it all of a sudden jumped up to 140, like crazy?
It was that you went from like not seeing a real frame rate increase on a GPU upgrade to, oh wow, okay, suddenly this is running a lot faster. Now I was coming from a DDR, I guess it was a DDR. This was a DDR4 system I was coming from, so coming from 9900K.
So you were also getting a CPU.
Yeah, huge CPU
upgrade. So it's not just the RAM speed. Yeah, it's a good question. I'd be curious. Yeah. So
always be testing.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Pedro, like, unless you know something is like a game that you're playing is very,
affected by it.
Yeah, affected by that. Yep. Your hardware is great, man. Like, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Oh yeah, okay. So here we go. D Garkle. I knew somebody in the chat would have this. If you have to run 6,000 mega transfers in 2-to-1 ratio, but can run a 5600 at 1-to-1 ratio, the 5600 will be faster. But also 5600 plus tighter timings can be faster when both are 1-to-1. So yeah. So I don't think it's just about pure speed. So
yeah, it's
things are much more complicated now.
It's real complicated.
Yeah. So anyway, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Check back next week for your fix of PC talk here on The Full Nerd. If you want to listen to us, I have to remember the newsletter thing. If you want to listen or watch us on the go, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Deezer, any Pocket Cast is my personal favorite. Anywhere.
iHeartRadio.
You did confirm we are on iHeartRadio.
We'll be getting us on all
anywhere you can point
platforms.
your RSS reader to. Hopefully, we'll be there. If not, let us know, and we'll get on it. And also, if you want the hottest, freshest full nerd adjacent, relevant information in your inbox weekly, then Elena Yee has got you covered. You go to PCWorld.com/. newsletters with an S /
Nope. You just go there and
Just
then you
that.
click the boxes
Oh,
for
okay.
the
I
ones
thought
you
sign
want.
up. Oh, okay.
You sign up. I will
Well,
say.
it's not newsletters / sign up.
Oh, is it sign up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's newsletters /sign up.
Yeah,
is what
okay.
we
Look
said
at
every
me.
other
I'm
week.
getting it
There you
wrong.
go.
I
So-
would not actually contribute or subscribers.
Well, you should.
Yeah, you
Sure.
should. You should sign up for it. And when they do, every time they do, what happens?
I start writing about a topic that I feel like writing about.
Like what? What's a good example?
So we changed the format just a little bit. We're experimenting with little because it's a new newsletter, and so
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, now I'm riffing a little bit. So last week I know words how they're spelled but not how pronounced. I think maybe Will can correct me. Pontificate.
Yeah, pontificates, right?
Thank you.
Like
So
that guy
Pope.
Data.
Yeah.
I pontificate a bit on this idea of what is the future of desktop PCs? What will we associate image wise when someone says, "Oh yeah, I have a desktop PC"? Will we imagine the gigantic box on the ground that I think a lot of us currently think of, or will it become a mini PC because they're becoming so popular? So I think a little bit about that. Last
Love
week's
it.
episode was a lot about the future, so it was kind of thematically related. And
I mean, I don't know about you, but I want to hear Elena pontificate as much as possible. So sign up for that newsletter. Get it weekly.
put in weird links too.
She
Fun
puts
links.
weird links.
Fun links.
Safe
They're
links.
Say, yeah.
Safe for work.
Did you put the Hello
Absolutely.
Kitty pillow in there?
Okay.
No, that one was just for the live blog.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I
not,
need
I guess
the
some
link.
fun links,
But,
not all the fun links.
Yeah, it's things that I think would be interesting for people who are into nerdy things, where it's like gross things that Comcast keeps trying to do to customers, like
man.
spying them through Wi-Fi signal strength,
Oof.
and then like people who are like,
Yikes.
you know what? I am just going to strap a bunch of DIY, copper cooling tubes to this GTX 1060 to see how much performance I can get out of it.
Why not? Why not? Always be
Why
testing.
not?
So thank you
Yeah.
everyone for tuning in to this episode 356. It's done. We got to wrap it up. We got to get out of here. Thank you to Brad Charkis, the co-host, who has left. Bye guys.
Wow, it's like he's here in my
Sounds
head right
exactly
now.
like him.
Brad's here. And then thank
know
you.
he's back.
Thank you to Will Smith for joining us, and thank you for fixing the camera wobble, because that was just
Wobble,
driving
wobble.
me insane.
Wobble, wobble.
No, please don't.
Are you going to do the actual
I
wobble?
just didn't touch my desk at all.
Oh, that's so
unlike
good. Yeah.
some people.
Unlike some people, hitting the table here. Jeez,
Elena
I don't know who would
whacking
do that.
the
Yeah,
table
Elena
left and
just
right all
hit the
day.
table.
Fidgety.
Yeah, so thank you, Elena, for not hitting the tables this week. I appreciate it.
Tried my best. I may have failed.
Yeah. Well, and thank you to one Willis Life for controlling the verticals and horizontals. Get us out of here. I'm so hungry.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
I could eat a banana any which way.
Well, speaking of banana, so I set up a poll that says, from which end of the peel do you peel a banana? 66% out of 64 votes says from the stem,
Oh,
23% from the tip, and then 11% from the center. So
I voted
I don't
center.
know. Well, to me, my take is that. What's up?
Oh, no, go ahead.
No,
Oh, you finish
my,
first.
No, my take is that, hey, it doesn't matter as long as you get to eat the banana at the end, right?
100% agree. You had another poll, though, where you asked people how they pronounce data.
Uh-huh.
What was the result of that?
I believe it was an overwhelming 70% saying data versus data.
I know. We don't
Data,
have as many
Adam.
Brits
What's up,
in
Mr.
this
Data?
listening to us, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, more crushers, less Pulaskis. That's all I say.
Wow.
All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Boom, 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 boom.